Welcome, everybody, and thank you for coming to watch the first world premiere of Level Up Live, the new talk show, kind of the predecessor to Nerd World. I'd like to welcome everybody in, welcome our hosts. Over to this side here on your left, my right, is Orphan.
Hey guys.
And then over on this side here, many of you guys may know this guy of unknown availability. And just to
What
give you a
is
quick
up?
rundown of how the show works, up at the top there, you can definitely see that you can award us points based on some of our conversation. If we say something smart, well researched, something really cool, feel free to give us some points. If we say something stupid, make an ass out of ourselves, take away points. At the end of the stream, whoever has the most points will be crowned the winner, and the other two will suffer a punishment. That will be revealed at the end of the show of what we're doing for the punishment. Um, Otherwise, all you gotta do is type an exclamation point in the name, just like you see right above me here, with a plus or minus to award or take away points. Some of the stuff we will be doing today, we're going to discuss next gen consoles, speculation, features that we want, and kind of the general direction. Then we're going to go into disc versus digital, the benefits, the cons, and what needs to happen in order for that to become a viable option. Then we're going to play a special game of Family Feud, video game edition, where Orphan is going to square off against Unknown. And then after that, we're gonna get into some new games that just came out, some upcoming releases, what we're playing, what our opinions are on some of the games, and then after that, we are gonna get punished. We're gonna find out who gets punished. So my first question for you guys is in relation to the next gen consoles, and more specifically the PS5. I just kind of want to know if you guys think when is it going to come out? Do you think 2019, 2020? Do you think we'll see it this year? What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Orton. All right. uh, I don't know. I don't think we'll see it. We'll probably won't see anything at this E3. Uh, I I imagine if we're going to see anything, it's probably not going to be until the 2020 E3. Just with the way that Sony typically does their release cycles, it's still a little too soon, I think, for them. We'll start to see some rumors and things pop up as there already has been online. But I don't foresee anything right away with these rumors popping up.
Yeah, I definitely think 2018's out of the question. I think if 2018 was going to be the year that it was coming out, we would have heard about it like last year. 2019 is more viable, but I think 2020 is probably a more realistic date, given that some of those big titles that are coming out probably aren't going to be ready till that time. When they can release it on PS4 and PS5 at the same time, with some upgraded features on the PS5. Being what I think it could be, like 4K and that kind of stuff. But I definitely think 2020 is a more reasonable expectation, more towards the holiday quarter four. Like is probably most likely to have it released, and we might hear a little bit about it at A3 this year, but I don't think we're going to hear much until probably next year.
Fact of the matter is everybody's expecting it. So everybody's going to expect something to come out soon. And they're not going to want to play out their hand because they know that they are, in particular, Xbox and PlayStation are in direct competition with each other. Nintendo said themselves that they're not trying to compete with these other consoles. They're trying to do their own thing and make their own lane. So Nintendo's got the Switch. Nintendo did something that the other consoles are going to emulate, like you mentioned, where they released not only their big ticket game and Breath of the Wild on the Switch, they also did it for the Wii U. They modified it and made it for the Wii U as well because it was originally supposed to be just for the Wii U. So anything that PlayStation or Xbox releases coming up most likely is going to have a big ticket release game that's going to have here's the upgraded features on this new console, but you can also get it on the old console because they don't want to miss out on all the people that own the old consoles.
Yeah, they
So
don't want to shoot themselves in the foot by selling it to a market of gamers that is small, whereas they have the established base in the PS4. They can dip into new markets, people that like to have all the great new stuff day one, and the people that still are have adopted the previous generation that just can't maybe afford yet to upgrade to the new console coming out. But I just feel like the PS4 is still new. It just feels weird to be talking about a PS5 when it just doesn't feel like the PS4 is all that old. I mean, by 2020, it's going to be what 6, 7 years old, and it just doesn't feel like it's been around that long.
That was their trick. That was their trick. Both Xbox and PlayStation released like newer versions, upgraded versions of the next gen consoles, so it doesn't feel old anymore. So they kind of refreshed our memories on what they had out and made us feel like it's still brand new. Where Nintendo couldn't do that with the Wii U. There was no way for them to do that. They had to come out with a new console in the form of the Switch. So Nintendo doing what they're doing, making their own lane, is going to end up paving a way for Xbox and PlayStation to either just continue competing and just trying to one up each other on the newer consoles, or just try to emulate what Nintendo's doing. And I don't know, because there was a point in time when PlayStation 3 came out, right around the same time that the Wii came out, that PlayStation attempted to do a motion control with PlayStation Move.
The Move, yeah.
But they also had it integrated into their six-axis controller. They actually had it integrated where you could bowl on this bowling game on PlayStation 3 by holding the trigger button and bowl and release the trigger button, and it actually curved with your hand.
It's on both the World Sports Champions.
I have no idea.
God.
It was garbage. It was awful. But they
bad.
attempted to emulate it. They attempted to emulate it because Nintendo is, if there's one thing that Nintendo has over these other companies, they are innovators. They are innovative with everything they do, and they're not afraid to take chances where you have Xbox and PlayStation just kind of being normal. That's all they're doing. The only thing Xbox has over PlayStation is that they are fully integrated into the PC world. They allow you to get games that are also available on Xbox on top of the computer. You can actually do both of them. That's why Sea of Thieves is really popular, because you can play on Xbox and you can play on on the actual PC. So PlayStation, I feel like PlayStation's starting to fall behind, even though they have great games. It's just they're not coming out with anything that the other ones are just blowing them away with.
Oh, the thing that PlayStation has is, as you said, the games, the exclusives. They're trying to bring value to the home console still, where Microsoft has basically said, okay, we've got a console, but you're just going to want to buy everything on PC anyways.
But has that hurt their sales? How does that hurt the Xbox sales? Because right now they're neck and neck.
I think it would depend
I'm not sure.
on,
I guess
I think it would depend on if you count PC sales towards just Microsoft in general. If you count, say they sell 5 million copies of a game on Xbox and they sell another 3 or 4 million on PC, are you counting their 9 against PlayStation's 10, or are you counting just the 4 or 5 on the console versus PlayStation's 10? One way or another, it's $1 in Microsoft's pocket on that game.
Yeah, it's definitely more towards Microsoft in that respect. But even if you're only going by console sales, specific console sales, a lot of people are buying the digital versions on the console and then still playing them on the PC. You see that happening a lot with these newer games that they're releasing. So there's quite a bit involved with Microsoft that they're doing with Xbox that is just, I don't know. I'm not a console gamer. I don't play consoles. I like old school consoles more than I do new school. But at the same time, when it comes to console games, I feel like if I can just get it on PC, I'm going to do it on PC. I have a more powerful PC rig than a console is. That's just me. But at the same time, Xbox just feels like it's further ahead than PlayStation, and Nintendo's in its own box, going its own lane, making its own things. Finally starting to get back into the darker versions with Dark Souls and stuff like that, stuff like that happening. So, which we're going to get into later.
Do you think that Microsoft is hurting themselves because of having a split between PC and console? Because, I mean, the way it works on PlayStation 4, I mean, they've got PlayStation 4 is just loaded full of exclusives when it comes to like the Last of Us. Yeah, really good exclusives. Like The Last of Us. What else? God of War that just came out. Just a ton of games that are, the Uncharted series is another really good one. They're console sellers. I mean, they are those big games that Sony PlayStation is known for. Whereas there's really no games that are system sellers for Microsoft. You know what I mean? You got the Halo series, but I mean, like you said, now you can play it on PC, but in
Right.
all honesty, it's
Gears
not
of War.
Gears of War. But those games really aren't what they used to be. They are
Right.
they're kind of a shadow of their former selves because they just kind of lost that luster when they started popping out a few poor iterations of their games, and they just never
Well, yeah,
rebounded.
and a lot of the original devs ended up leaving those teams. The original dev from 2K uh, for Gears of War left. He's no longer with them. You have the original devs from Bungie. They left, and the ones that stayed on, Microsoft rebranded them as 343 Games or 343 Studios, whatever it is. And yeah, even not only this game, but the studios are a shadow of their former selves. Where you have, Sony with, they have Santa Monica Studios from Gears of War, or I'm sorry, God of War. That's been the same studio making these games over all these years.
Mm-hmm.
Still thinking about buying a Bloodborne machine. That's a good comment. Bloodborne, I think, was a huge system seller for PS4. Uh, Sony did a great job getting that exclusive, and
Well, here's the thing. We just said exactly what each company's doing.
Yeah.
They want to compete with each other. PlayStation is literally doing what they're wanting to do. They're going for games, which is great because they have a lot of great games that are exclusive to their console. Xbox is looking for, you can do anything anywhere. Xbox is wanting to be like the all-inclusive kind of thing where you're going to get games that are good on the Xbox still, and it's going to be fine. The problem is Xbox doesn't want to do exclusives anymore, it sounds like. Like Halo is really, like y'all said,
it's
a
pretty
shell
much
of
gone.
itself.
Yeah, I don't think Microsoft can really even do exclusives anymore if they're gonna cross-release everything on PC. It's not really exclusive at that point because it's available on two different platforms, even though it's owned by the same company. It's still two platforms. I don't think Microsoft can really have exclusive to an Xbox.
It's
when
still
you
exclusive.
can get it on PC. You know what I mean?
It's still exclusive. It's still on the Xbox platform.
It is on the Xbox platform, but if I don't own an Xbox, if it's exclusive, I shouldn't be able to get it on anything but an Xbox. But if I can get it on PC, is it really an Xbox exclusive?
They've rebranded. It's a
Microsoft exclusive.
Yeah, it's still exclusive. Exclusive means something different now than it used to back in console days, where we're talking about literally consoles are becoming mini computers. That's all they are. They have faster processors, bigger hard drives, where everything used to be on these ugly cartridges and things like that. Now it's all on hard drives. That's just the way it works. So it's crazy to think that now literally buying a gaming machine, I'm going to say it like that because you can decide to buy a computer, you can decide to buy a PlayStation, you can decide to buy an Xbox, or you can decide to buy a Switch. They're all gaming machines. They're not even consoles anymore because they're not what they used to be. Consoles used to be you're buying physical copies of things, putting them in, and that's on the game. You don't go sharing ROMs and things like that, and you don't do this stuff that happens today. It's not the same. So exclusive now means who owns the property. It's Microsoft, it's Sony, because there's things that are Sony exclusive that are like there's actually PlayStation Store games that are Sony exclusives that you can actually play on Sony TVs, smart TVs, because of the style of game they are. And you have these controllers you can buy for Sony TVs. So they're not PlayStation exclusive, but they are Sony exclusive.
Right. So touching base on what our last comment was, the PS4 exclusives and getting Microsoft's exclusives on the PC, that's kind of something I've preached for a while. Why would I go out and buy an Xbox if I could just build a PC for roughly the similar cost as like an Xbox One X? And why wouldn't I just get access to all the PC games, Microsoft exclusives?
Physical copies. That is the thing that people will still want. Physical copies. Because they're not selling these games as physical copies anymore. You're buying boxes, but you're not buying a physical copy. You're buying a digital download. So I agree with that. I am kind of like, I like to own the stuff. I still buy DVDs. In all honesty, I literally buy DVDs still. Who the hell buys DVDs? But I enjoy owning like my favorite shows and stuff like that, Game of Thrones and stuff like that, just because I have it. It's a piece of Americana. I want to own it. So, yeah, that's the way it goes. So, but I do agree that why buy an Xbox when you could just put it on your computer? Most people own a computer nowadays that can handle some of these games.
Right.
That's one of the reasons I don't. The newest console I own right now is a Wii U. I have a PS3, but I borrowed that from my brother. So I literally have not bought a new console. He buys a new console every time it comes out. I don't have a Switch. I don't have a PlayStation 4. I don't have an Xbox One. I've played games on them from friends, but I don't own it. I don't have a reason to own it.
We're gonna have to change that. You're gonna need a Switch. It's a very good console, but
I want a Switch so freaking bad. My birthday's coming up, and I got to make decisions, and I don't know if I can shell out $300.
The other thing that I've always kind of talked about is if Sony wants to basically destroy the market entirely, and Steam as well. If you had a pairing of those two companies, Microsoft would die overnight. Their Xbox sales and their exclusive sales would, I think, die completely overnight if Sony and Steam got together.
This is a perfect time to transition into our next subject.
Actually,
digital.
Real quick, somebody want to try doing the vote in the chat again here? It wasn't working.
Yeah, it looked like we had an issue.
You want to?
While y'all checking the vote system, give me 2 seconds here. I'm still on headset, but I need to grab a drink. It's just right down the way.
Go for it.
I'm still here, guys. Still here. Please upvote me all you want. I swear, I'm good.
Okay, it looks like it's just evaluating points when I type it in.
That's strange.
That is strange. I saw it whenever Crowder tried to give you a point for your comment.
Wonder why that's not working.
It's only...
Do you want me to see if I can do it as a mod and see if it's doing the mod only thing again?
Oh,
I know it.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
When you upvoted RNG, it gave me the point, but it seemed like when.
Yeah, it's weird because I removed any kind of mod thing to do points. I don't know why it's doing that. Oh, there it goes. Oh no,
it's
okay. So the command's still on user. Okay, so it's a mod only thing.
It shouldn't be. I updated it all to not be mod. I don't know why it's doing that.
So yeah, it's letting me do it, and it's got it on a cooldown, which it's telling me the cooldown right after I'm doing it, which is really
Does somebody
odd.
besides one of the hosts want to try voting in the channel just to make sure it's working here? In the meantime, before we go to Disc versus Digital, Unknown, I kind of wanted to speculate what kind of launch lineup we could expect with a PS4 or a PS5. I mean, some of the games that come to mind for me are going to be like The Last of Us 2, Final Fantasy 7, Death Stranding, that kind of stuff. All right, cool. It's working now. All right.
Oh, okay, cool.
And particularly Final Fantasy 7. That's the one that I think, because from what I'm hearing, it's still not even close to being done.
It's heavily in development.
Yeah, it's heavily in development, and it's not even close to being done. So, I mean, there's definitely a lot of work to be done on that one. What do you guys think?
I feel like the thing that's going to hold them up is being able to distinguish from being PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Next Gen compared to Xbox One. So that's kind of my thing, is what are they going to do with the console itself to distinguish it? PlayStation's probably going to do it alongside of a release. Xbox is going to look for the next thing that's coming out that's going to make them more powerful, because that's exactly what Microsoft is doing. They're looking for power on their console, not as much exclusives. They're looking to make sure that their machine can handle more. So once something new comes out that they can incorporate into their new console, I don't think we're going to see something from them. PlayStation might make the first move because a game's going to come out sooner than this new stuff that they can do with their console. And we already know Switch is out, so Switch has got new games coming out that people are buying just because. Like, Switch already proved that they can release the same game as it was on the Wii U and sell. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is a perfect example. People bought the hell out of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and it's the same game, just including the DLCs.
Well, here's the thing. They kind of have to do that because of how bad the Wii U was in sales. Nobody got to play all these games they put so much work and development in. They had to basically port those over just to So people be like, "Hey, remember these games that we made on the system you didn't buy?"
Right.
And I mean, they didn't really. I mean, I'm not gonna say they didn't have a choice because they obviously did, but they definitely didn't make the money that they wanted to off of those games. But by doing a port, which is, in my assumption, is a far less strain on development, they
Yeah,
were able to basically cash in twice on
yeah,
some of those buyers, and
very true.
it's
Actually,
just. Sorry, go ahead.
that leads me into my next like one of my questions about these deluxe games and stuff like that with the consoles. Since we were talking about what's coming next for Xbox and PlayStation, what's coming next for the Switch? Are they going to release Mario Maker 2 or a new version for the Switch? What are they doing?
They really need to release Mario Maker 2. I mean, anybody who's ever watched me, I play the hell out of that game. I streamed it for a long time. It's a lot of fun. I absolutely love that game. But they absolutely have to. But I think the
There's some work. So I heard, or I read into Mario Maker for the 3DS and the issues
oh,
that
that's
they have with
garbage.
that. Oh, well, exactly. They need to remedy that and make the ability to share maps and to play other maps a little bit more like the Wii U, and even streamline it further. Uh, but I think that's essentially what they've got going on. Is I don't even know if you need to make it a Mario Maker 2, but just Mario Maker Switch and enhance the tools that they've given players already. Uh,
See, here's the funny thing about Mario Maker on the Switch. Everything that they're doing right now with Mario Maker on Wii U, they're still releasing updates. They're still maintaining servers.
It's
right.
not so much that they're
And
making updates, but they're patching stuff out. Is basically what they're doing. I
they
feel I
are
feel like they are kind of increasing the grip on the Mario Maker community's neck. That way, it sets them up. Be like, hey, remember all the stuff you used to be able to do? Now you can do it on the
Mhm.
new Mario Maker on the Switch. You know what I mean? And I feel like they're kind of putting that little stranglehold on the current game to make it feel obsolete. That way, the new one maybe has a little bit more appeal to it. Which, in all honesty, I think it already has appeal, with or without.
People want it.
Yeah,
People want it. As long as they put new things to make with and design with, it's gonna make it
and
better.
that's
But
an issue too. Is how are you going to refresh this game. They can add more level, backgrounds and
Map
themes. Yeah,
size.
map size. They can add vertical levels. They can add new items. They can add bosses, that kind of stuff. But how much of that is going to be enough to make it feel like a new game? You know what I mean?
they have quite a bit they can add. They have quite a bit that they left out. And the whole thing is they made it basically uh, a Super Mario World hack light is what they did. They made it to where you had different levels and different game physics and stuff like that, but pretty much everything was its own thing. And circling back to your Mario Maker 3DS, the biggest problem with Mario Maker 3DS, in all honesty, was the lack of level sharing. The
Yeah.
best part of Mario Maker on the Wii U is that you can go and play all this plethora of levels that are so freaking fun and do 100-man super experts and watch people play these trolley ass levels that suck and enjoy it and just watch these amazing players play these levels over and over and have, people who are trying to upload levels that are super difficult and super just classic looking and literally just some of the best physics that you can see in the game and best like tricks and moves that you can do with capes and all these different things. Mario Maker 3DS was just like, yeah, dude, take this with you. And it's like, you don't do anything. It's like, so
Yeah.
what? You
Here,
can't get
build a level
online.
and let nobody else play it.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
You
only
know?
all my friends
play,
in the same room as me.
yeah, play your own level, dude.
Hey, I got 1 star. All right.
Yeah, we don't we don't have friends anymore. Come on. And it's like
Right.
nobody sits in the same room and talks anymore. Come on,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
nobody has real life friends. The
Yeah,
hell?
That
What the hell kind of people do you think we are, Neanderthals?
yeah, that was the biggest flop idea on Nintendo's part.
It felt very rushed.
Yeah,
Like they had to
getting
make one.
they're willing to make mistakes though.
yeah. Well, yeah. Well,
That
I
was
think
definitely
Nintendo
a
always
mistake.
is.
Yeah.
Getting back into the point of what each system I think is going to come or become is they're going to develop their roles further. So when PS4, Xbox One, and the Wii U came out, I guess it was more of the Wii U 3DS, because they kind of came out about the same time, and they serve slightly different purposes, but they had kind of the same idea. The PS4 was designed as a gaming machine, a gaming console, to be the best gaming console at the time that it came out. The Xbox One was designed as an entertainment console, something that you could play games on and watch your TV. And then you had the Wii U 3DS, which was designed as mobility and family togetherness. And then
don't forget that the Wii U actually tried to do this whole entertainment system too. Remember the that whole integrated system they used to have, like the Nintendo channel, like they had a built-in remote control with an IR blaster and all that stuff on the gamepad. Hell of a failure, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you asked me if I remember. I don't think anybody does. But
it came in handy when I lost my remote, and that was about it.
Right, we could see the Switch has assumed its role further. It has become a full-blown home entertainment family console on the go. So
not only that, I would like to call it an interactive console.
Yeah.
Because that's really what it's hitting on with Labo. It's hitting on the interactivity that you can do.
But do we really want to call that an entertainment console when really all that's on it is Hulu? I mean, there's no Netflix. I don't think there's YouTube on it. You know, there's no music services.
I guess family mobility gaming console.
Okay.
With
there being nothing but Hulu on there, you know, it's pretty much just a gaming console with one video player.
Yeah, the biggest thing, you bring up the Labo, and I guess I haven't quite developed my opinion on it yet. I am not sure where it's really creative and it's a really, really neat idea, but I don't know if it's going to take off. It seems really cumbersome in some ideas. I think the general idea of it is fantastic. Getting kids and family and stuff, all together to build these things that are creative and fun and interactive.
I've heard some of them are pretty rough. I remember the piano, like somebody took like 3 to 4 hours to build the piano.
Yeah.
And, so there's definitely a
I don't see. I don't disagree that the time involved in things like that. I think it's a really cool idea though, because whenever they did the Wii and they had the add-ons and things like that people were making to make it feel more like golf, make it feel more like tennis, like that's like the lamer version of what Labo really is. And I feel like they've created something that actually can allow you to enhance a lot of different things. Like the robot thing, I guarantee you is going to take a lot of time to make, but you really will get a sense of accomplishment making that and making it work because you just made a movable, usable robot. It's really stinking cool. I'm all about that kind of stuff though. I'm an engineering guy. I like that kind of stuff. So, and I do kind of agree with what Meowtron Prime says. The Nintendo Labo thing just seems like one of those things where you build it, play it once, and then shove it away into a closet, never be seen again. But that's the whole thing, though. They're going to come out with more ideas that may be more usable, that are going to be more applicable to other things, that are going to be really cool to do again, to actually come back and use again, because it's going to be functional. They released the first set of stuff to be like, all right, you're going to make all this stuff and then probably be done with it, like the piano and stuff like that. Nobody's going to want to go back and mess with that stupid piano after doing it the first time. But the Nintendo Labo.
This is the only creativity you get.
Have some cardboard.
Wait, we're working on it, guys. Here, take some cardboard.
Here's what's funny about the Nintendo Labo, and for me, like I can't remember the comedian's name. He used to do this line about how French people thought Americans were stupid. He used to be like, you know how dumb I think Americans are? I bet you I can sell them bottled water. You know, just something stupid like that. And I feel like Nintendo is over there like, how stupid do I think Americans are? I can sell them cardboard.
Right.
And we'll just like fuck yeah, let's do it. Let's go with this cardboard.
Yeah, so pay $40 for a box.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Apparently, I'm the unpopular opinion guy because I think it's actually really cool.
no, I think it is
agree.
a cool idea, but it's just
Yeah.
very funny that
It needs some refinement, I think.
Nintendo sold us cardboard, and
did.
with the promise
with-
of your imagination, and and we ate it up, you know. So
I
That's-
will say though, they had Bill Nye come in for it, and he did a great promo video with them. I thought it was great. It was hilarious. But I love Bill
Man.
Nye, so
Bill Nye endorses it, dude. That's okay in my book.
Eh.
Bill Nye, the science guy. Bill.
I mean,
Bill.
I like Bill Nye from when I was a kid, but now I tried to watch his Netflix show. I'm just like, oh my god, this is unwatchable. And so, I mean, Bill Nye is very mad to me, but you know, I understand his credentials, you know, and where he's coming from. So, what do you guys think is going to be? So, like from the Switch, what do you think that, like, you know, the PS4 and the Xbox can learn from the Switch? I mean, I don't think Nintendo, or I don't think PlayStation or Xbox is going to make a portable tablet screen for you to play games on, you know, because they're, like I said, they're the home console. I mean, do you see anything that the Switch has done that would improve, or that even Xbox or Sony would even adopt onto a new system?
I think the biggest thing I've noticed playing around with my Switch is the super precise motion controls without the need of a camera.
Don't they call those like HD motion controls? Is that what Switch is calling them?
I have no idea what they call them. They're just amazing.
They've done a lot of work on that. Compared from the Wii to the Wii U to Switch, they have perfected that technology. I think something that would be interesting to see with the other consoles, there's a lot of unused space on the controllers. Not that I'm telling them to just make this really complicated controller, but PlayStation started for PlayStation and Xbox.
Yeah.
They have a lot of just unused space, and I'm not saying they need to put a bunch of shit on there because, I mean, let's face it, when Nintendo came out with the 64, that controller was like, what the fuck is this? So PlayStation started to do something with it whenever they added I don't really know what to call it, but it's that little pad, the touchpad, that they started to do more with it and allow you to do a little bit with it. And it was unique in the fact that, you know, it wasn't always integrated, but it was useful. It became something that you could use. So, and a console that comes to mind was the Sega Dreamcast. They had the little additions that you could put in there. It had a touchscreen you could put in there.
Dude, no, that was my personal little like Gigapet when I was a kid. Taking that to school and like feeding my Sonic Chows and stuff like that. Those things were great. Do you remember being able to do that? You could just take that on the go, and like your Sonic Chows, you could put them on there and like take care of them like a Gigapet or like whatever they call them.
Like a Tamagotchi.
Tamagotchi, yeah, there. It was like a Tamagotchi.
I remember that. I do remember that. See, that was the cool thing about the Dreamcast. Like the fact that it just died. I feel bad for Sega because it was such a great console that just didn't.
I thought it was good.
I loved it.
It had great games. It had great graphics, and it was such a great console that just died by the wayside. Hey, listen. If Superman 64 didn't kill the N64, I think any console should have the ability to survive. Okay. So,
I used to play that game all the time. Just this wise ass little like fish frog in a tank. I don't know if you. I still got it actually. I've literally got it like right in front of me over here. Microphone and all, which is really funny. But
the original Talking Tom.
The original Tom. So I mean, if it doesn't feel like anything from the Switch would really translate over too well, and what you were saying about the controller for the PS4, don't change it. It is one of the most comfortable controllers out there, in my opinion. It fits in my hands really well. I mean, maybe some other people don't, but it fits really well. I think you can integrate stuff into that same design, but you know, I think that why is it not working again? I think that the actual design of it is, you know, comfortable for me.
Right. The DualShock has always been a very good controller. I think if anything, learning from the Xbox controller a little bit with their triggers that had the vibration and the feedback, I think would be really cool to see on a PlayStation controller. and I think the only way that Sony could really improve on the controllers to have some sort of feedback on the triggers, I think would be a cool idea. And then to integrate some better
Are you talking
motion
like a haptic
controls.
feedback on the triggers?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then just some better motion controls, because the motion controls on the DualShock have always kind of been garbage.
I think
Here's one.
motion controls on any full controller like that is kind of dumb in my opinion, because it never seems to like level out like in a like a way. Like I'll be playing something, all of a sudden like it gets to the next section, I'm finding myself like like this, trying to get this thing.
Playing.
Yeah, I'm like,
Well,
go.
Hey, listen, they're playing on the original thing when you play in Mario Kart on the SNES. Whenever you're like, I gotta go right, and then like whenever you're trying to make that sharp turn and you just immediately like yank the controller. Everybody's natural reactions.
Ark, we'll actually cover that here a little bit later. We can talk about
Remake
that.
of Medieval.
I remember the game Medieval. That game was great.
I did
heard
love
of it.
Medieval.
So yeah,
I never
definitely
played that, but
we'll definitely discuss that later on the upcoming game side if you want to hang out for a bit. So with the new consoles possibly coming out, I mean, what features can they add to the PS4 or the Xbox that will set it apart from their current gen consoles? Some of the things I was thinking about and I discussed with you earlier was, well, first of all, native 4K and HDR. I mean, that's just got to be the standard at this point.
yeah, enough of this checkboarding shit. Let's get some real GPUs on board and do some true 4K.
And I mean, going into our next topic, I'll go over a couple of features that I think really need to be on the next consoles when we discuss disc and digital. But they definitely need to have like a locked 60 frames per second. There's no reason why they can't build a console that can run at 60 frames per second with the technology that's out there now. I just don't see how it's not possible for them to be able to optimize it enough that it can do it without completely, jacking the console up. Some other things is
They've got
Go ahead.
They've got to catch up on the console end compared to the game end. You've got these new games coming out like Far Cry 5, God of War, the whatever you want to call it, the new God of War. They are so
Dad of
graphics
Son
intensive.
or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Dad of boy.
Dad of Boy.
Yeah. Yeah, got a boy. The whole thing about it is that you've got so many different games that are coming out that are so graphics intensive that the consoles can't catch up and can't keep up with it. That a console, you just kind of assume that the console is going to be able to play the game that's on it. Like with a computer, you can understand not having the correct graphics because there's so many different
variations of the graphics
variations.
cards and the PCs.
Yeah, but with a console, it's like, I bought this game from the store and it's for this console. Why in the fuck is it not working? Like, you're literally pissed off because you bought the $60 game that's not working on your console that you can't upgrade. You can't change anything.
Right, unless you buy the new PS4 Pro X with optional sunroof and to be able
It makes me breakfast in the morning.
Yeah,
and calls me 3 days later. And it's just one of those things that it's like if they're developing the game for it, optimize it for the hardware you're developing it for to be able to get there. And I think with a new gen console, that I think that the technology and the hardware can be advanced enough that hitting a minimum 60 frames per second should not be an issue. If they're trying to get on par with PC, they need to up their game in terms of the frame rates.
There is no reason that consoles should not be on par with computers nowadays. Literally, there are computers that are the same size as these consoles and have all these powerful graphics and everything like that. There's no reason that they can't just optimize their OS or their BIOS for it and just make it work. Like they're too busy trying to distinguish themselves from PC and from gaming computers that they're just not willing to bite the bullet and just say, all right, screw it. We're basically PC consoles, so you can buy games for our console. They need to just bite the bullet and do it. Like they're so, yeah.
And I've always had an idea in my head, and it came up when Microsoft released the Xbox One X, is I think we're at the day and age where console gamers should almost have a choice when they go out and buy a console. Like with the PS5, you'll have the PS5 and at release the PS5 Pro, for instance. one is $300, so you can go out, you can get access to all these games, and they're not, maybe they're not locked at 60 frames and things like that. But then you can get the Pro where you spend $600 and you get one that's basically like a PC, and the fact that it's going to run at 60 frames, it's going to run at 4K, it's going to give you that tried and true experience that they intended. So
I
I think we're at that point.
You're right. I think that is the perfect. Instead of waiting 3 to 6 months after the initial release of a console, they need to just go ahead and make a upgraded version at the release and be like, hey, look, you can run 80% of our games on this console for this price. But if you want to play top tier, really great games and this extra 15 to 20%, buy this better version, because you're going to end up spending the money, and there's going to be gamers out there. There's going to be streamers that are going to be forking out that money left and right.
Yeah.
And even have they're not talking to the game developers. That's the problem. They're not talking with the game developers. Game developers are making their games, and they're blasting all these great things out with these games, and the consoles are just sitting there shrugging, going, oh, we didn't prepare for this. Why not? Why aren't you talking to the developers?
I really don't think that making a tiered game console would be the answer. I think the way they went about it this generation, with the PlayStation 4, then the PlayStation 4 Pro, I think that if they were to release those two, because, if they were to release those two, say, like on a launch day, it's like, hey, here's the 1080 version, here's the 4K version, different features for the consoles, but they run the same games. I think that would be fair, but to limit what games are on both of the consoles would be kind of a dick move on the hardware developers' side. But I think if they were to say, hey, here's a 1080 version, here's a version that'll do 4K HDR and has these extra features for the console feature, not necessarily the games that it'll play. Here's the price for this, here's the price for that, and you have a choice. But you could still play the same games, just in 1080 or 4K with the added features.
Yeah, I agree. Like, maybe I didn't quite say it correctly with limiting what games are on what, but there's going to still be games that are going to be performing better on one rather than the other. Not limiting what games are on each side, but still making it to where, hey, look, this is going to perform better on this. It's like minimum requirements, best requirements. You're going to run into problems with X, but if you get this, there's not going to be problems.
It's like you can lock the lower tier at 1080, 30 frames per second, and you can go with an upgraded one where it's going to run 4K 60 frames per second or something along those lines, where you're like, hey, you want the added, video quality and that kind of stuff. You need to get the upgraded system, otherwise you can get the, the standard 1080, 30, and but still be able to play the same games. It just depends on how the system will run it, because if you have a more powerful system, it could run the same game at 60 frames that, the other console could just, lock at 30, for the less premium system. So,
and honestly, 30 frame gaming is, 60 frame has become the standard. Thank you, Activision and Call of Duty. But and for good reason. Obviously, it's smoother. It's going to be a better experience. But I am adamant in believing that is not 100% required. I played Destiny 2, which is a new game, locked at 30 frame on console, and I thought it was great. Yes, it was clearer and smoother on PC at 60 frame, but locked at 30 frames, I thought it played just fine. When things are at 60 frame, though, it does allow the game developer to do a couple extra things from the development side of things that allows them to, if it's like guns that are involved or bullets or something, hit scans can be more accurately depicted in 60 frame. And there's certain benefits to having it more than just the graphical smooth nature of it, but I don't think it's required.
Yeah, 60 frames is closer to what our eyes recognize.
Correct.
So that's really what it comes down to as well, because you're going to see visual tearing and things like that with 30 frames, and it's going to be, your eyes are going to move faster than that. So that's why 30 frames is okay, but at the same time, it's not like it is on 60 frames. That is one of the few things that I do agree with. Like, I'm not this 4K crap. I'm not about that. I give me HD 1080p. I'm fine. It looks good. It doesn't. You can only see so much definition, but frames per second. There's a reason why slow motion cameras and stuff like that exist. and you can't see certain things that are going so fast because it matches your eyes and things like that. Like that's why we can't see. Stop doing that, camera. I don't know why my camera was just freaking out.
Mine's doing it too. So I've been looking at it like, God damn it, just stop doing that. So
yeah, like I'm literally sitting there talking, and as I'm moving my hand, it's like boom, boom. Good God. But the whole thing is, it's like back in the day with the old CRT TVs. You know, CRT is got the only time you would see CRT was whenever you put a camera to it, and you would see that. There's a reason why 1080p is only, you don't see that with 1080p because your eyes are matching it and it's way clearer on 1080p. But when you start getting into 4K and more definition, it looks clear slightly, but your eyes can't tell. Your eyes can't tell. It's not worth the money, in my opinion. So, but yeah, I get it. I do understand. A lot of people love that full definition. There's a guy at work who's just like, he nuts over it every time. And I'm like, all right, dude, it's 4K, but I'm playing the same game in 1080p, and I don't see a dick of difference.
Don't tell them about the new 8K Samsungs that just came out. That is a for real thing, by the way.
well, can I make one more suggestion here before we kind of move on to the disc versus digital debate?
If your noise gate works, sure.
Yeah, right. If your noise gate.
Are you hearing me now? Are you hearing me
Yes.
now? Okay.
Can you hear me now?
I got Verizon.
You need Verizon. Yeah, you need Verizon.
For the love of God, Sony, could you let us change our fucking usernames, please?
Yes.
We were talking about this earlier, Orphan and I can imagine like 25-year-old guy who got a PS3 when he was 13 years old probably wishes that he could change his username from XX Pussy Slayer to something a little more, you know, respectable. And
Pussy Slayer.
So, like, for the love of God, get on that shit. I mean, it's not that hard. Xbox does it. They charge you a fee if you do it more than once, but how can it be that difficult to integrate that into your systems?
So to expand on what we were talking about earlier, RNG was what I told RNG while we were at work. We were discussing actually the username switch and everything. Was so Sean Layden, the current CEO of Sony America, says he is sick and tired of answering this question. And at the last PlayStation Experience in October, he mentioned that that the infrastructure was being laid, and that he was tired of answering the question, obviously, and that his goal was to not have to answer the question by 2018 PlayStation Experience, which would be in October. But going even further back than that, this is a personal thing for me too, because I have had my username for many years, and I would like to change it. But what they originally said was that they didn't have the ability to do it, that the infrastructure that they had laid down, that your games and everything, all your purchases were tied to this one specific thing. It's like, that's bullshit. It's tied to my email address.
Right.
That's total bullshit anyway, because unless they just really fucked up the programming, Microsoft has all the same shit, and you can change your fucking name. It's not that hard.
Right.
It's not
tied to your email address that you have registered to your account.
Right.
And you can here's the funny part. You can change your email address that runs your account, but you can't change your fucking username.
Right? Fuck. Like, okay. So Xbox did this to me, right? Back in the day, whenever Xbox 360 first came out and you were making your Xbox Live gamer tag and stuff like that, I couldn't come up with one. I didn't have all the handles that I do now with ability and all that stuff. So I was just clicking through stuff. And I'm like, okay, whatever, pick one for me. So it has my name in there, and it's coming up with names, and it's flipping through, and all of a sudden it says underlaid Josh. And I'm like, fuck you, Microsoft. So I choose it. and
here we are.
Well, and I ended up changing it later, so now my Xbox gamer tag is Exploding TARDIS. And like, I really wish I could change that shit to my handle now, but the problem is, they charge you like fucking $40 to change the damn name. I'm like,
that much? I thought it was like 10.
I think it's 20. I think it's actually 20.
It's more than I'm willing to pay to change a fucking name. That's expensive as fuck.
Well, like, and then you have Steam that just willy-nilly you can change it 14 times a day if you want. But
somebody minus me.
Yeah, somebody minus you.
Somebody did minus me. Is it all
Yeah.
corrected now?
Yeah, it's all corrected. I don't know why it keeps like duplicating one of the scripts for some reason. So
I don't know. I think I'm supposed to be at 12 because I got one from Meowtron and I got one from Naylene, I think. Way early on. No.
We'll got it. We got it.
Chirality?
Chirality.
all right,
Chirality.
yeah. See, his is
Sorry.
Orphans is working, but for
Gotcha.
some reason it keeps like copying our names onto the two different scripts, and I don't know why. I'll have to figure that out later.
It's only doing it on you though for some reason. I haven't had it happen on me. I was able to correct those, so I'll just go ahead and handle it.
It keeps changing. It keeps changing my name to exclamation unknown. I don't know why.
Gotta tail in my weight.
Anyways, go on to the next topic, guys. Disc versus digital. Now, I know there was a big push, and we saw that with the PS4 and the Xbox One coming out, that Microsoft just got lambasted for, even having to talk about being digital only and all this other stuff.
Right.
And they just got completely torn to shreds on that, and it really screwed their launch numbers.
It prompted Sony to make an advertisement, which was literally
sharing the game.
Right now.
Here's how to share games on the PS4.
Here you go.
There you go.
Thanks.
Yeah, and that commercial was just fucking epic. I absolutely loved it, and God, it was just like the perfect. I mean, it wasn't even subtle, but it was like just the perfect little. Stab.
Oh, they had so much. They had so much fun with that.
They
E3.
did.
It was ridiculous.
So
it's funny. Like I'm on the fence. I really am on the fence. I like the idea of digital games more so than I like the idea of like digital movies, because the only thing I don't like about it is space, and whether or not they're going to require us be connected to the internet all the time.
Well, here's the problem that I have with the digital aspect of it is, one, anytime I buy a movie, I don't buy digital. I will go to the store, I will buy the Blu-ray that comes with the free digital copy, and I will watch the digital, but I want that physical copy because if the internet goes out or something's not working, I have the option to pop that disc in. But if the internet is out and I don't have a physical copy, guess what? I can't watch a damn movie that I own. And not only that, but I'm a kind of guy, I just like to have the physical copies of all my stuff, because it's mine. This is my Squishy. I will name you Squishy. This is, and I use the digital stuff a lot, but I only use the digital because I bought the physical with it. And, I don't see the benefit of going 100% digital because, well, there's a couple reasons. One is I don't see the monetary value in it. A movie that I can buy at the store or a game that I can buy at store for $60, I'm still paying $60 for on the digital copy. Okay, so it's not like I'm saving $10-15 by buying the digital copy, so there's no benefit there. Secondly, it takes up a shit ton of space on my hard drive. Okay, a 500 gigabyte hard drive or a 1 terabyte hard drive on a console is nothing when you consider that Grand Theft Auto is 50 to 60 gigabytes off the disc. So with the system storage and all that stuff, you got a room for maybe 6 or 7 AAA titles on your console. I don't know about you, but I have more than 6 or 7 games, and I don't want to sit there for an hour and a half when I want to play an old game just because I have to wait for the damn thing to install and then download all the damn updates again and go through all that stuff. So it just doesn't make sense to me.
There's a lot of ways around all that. And there's a lot of things that they can do with, I think, as long as they don't go all one way or all another, they can incorporate different levels of abilities in the games with offline play, allowing you to be on, like,
Meow.
I know that caught my attention too, the cats and stuff like that. Orphan's cheating, okay? He's cheating.
Hey,
he's getting points for
they
cats.
want me.
But like they can incorporate all different levels of things. For instance, you don't have to require everything to be online, and you can download the main base of the game and things like that, and require certain online play to as it loads and things like that. So I feel like it's possible to work everything in
Cheater.
and not
Sorry.
actually require all of it, because whenever the console wars really started to pick up with Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo and all that, there was a lot of talk about going to completely online play, and it was really causing a lot of trouble. Like I mean, nobody wants complete online play because everybody there's people out there who only have 3 megs per second.
Well, and look
shit.
at Diablo 3's original launch. Look at SimCity's original launch. All the new Gen ones that were online required.
Well, keep in mind too that those are game developers that are required. Blizzard went to an all online thing, but consoles doing it is different because then you have less of an option of what you can. So that's really the problem, is that they're trying to look at this as well, we have to do it this way or we have to do it this way. Not once have they thought about doing both. Like, there are going to be games that are going to be huge, like GTA 5. There's a lot of customability in GTA 5 with changing, skins and stuff like that, and updates and things that you can do, that you're going to need some element of online ability to go through and do all that kind of stuff, as well as multiplayer. So if you're not careful and you just do all online, people that are going to be offline sometimes are going to be screwed and can't play the base game. So you have to give them both. You have to give them both things, and companies are just overlooking that altogether. They not once do they think about, well, they're too worried about cost. That's the problem. They're worried about actually spending a little bit of extra money to just incorporate both, and they're just like, no, well, if we do it all one way, then we can only spend that much money. Yeah, no, you're gonna make money off of it. Shut up. You make $60 a fucking game.
Right.
Like,
I like to also mention, Kingsborg makes a good point that I'd actually like to touch on, is that the internet providers need to be not terrible, because here's the thing, is internet in America is way behind
Terrible.
pretty much everybody in the world except for
Fucking
North Korea.
horrible.
And the problem is that the internet companies are not willing to invest the money to catch up with the rest of the world. Quite a few years ago, the government gave these cable companies hundreds of millions of dollars to upgrade all the internet lines to fiber, all this stuff, and they did nothing with it. They
right in that pocket.
They just put it right in their pocket. They didn't do shit for any of the internet infrastructure at all. And now we're stuck with basically, subpar internet compared to the rest of the world. It's like, oh, hey, cool, I get Charter Spectrum at 6 megabyte download, and it's just stupid that we are at a 6 meg download. Some areas are on Google Fiber, which thank Google Fiber for actually trying to do something. But
please bring it.
But living in East Bumfuck, Minnesota, I'm never going to see Google Fiber. Are you kidding me? Like, I am stuck with basically the bare national brand into my area, and I'm never going to see fiber in this area. Fiber's only going to go to make major metro areas. I would be surprised if I saw fiber speeds in the next 10 years in an area like where I live. And
I just moved to country. Like, I just moved over to a country area. We're living in a freaking trailer now. But it's fine. The internet's 300 megabits per second download, and then 20. Like, I mean, I'm not complaining about that. Don't get me wrong, please. I'm not complaining about 300 megabits per second.
Okay.
I'm not doing that. I'm saying that it's good. It gives me great speed. The thing is, I want fiber because of the connectivity, because this still falls during certain things. Weather should not affect cable speeds, but it does because they have hanging lines. Fiber is underground, and I'm an internet tech. I work for internet companies. So the problem with a lot of this infrastructure thing that you're discussing is DSL is the only thing that can get to certain places because of cold weather. Cold weather areas screw with internet so bad, especially fiber lines, because they have to insulate it even more. So the colder weather is going to mess with that internet speed and mess with the actual flow of data. So it's a pain. It's a pain in the ass. And to upgrade and do this, so some places are only getting 3 megabits per second or 1.6. We're talking barely double what 56K dial-up was. So, you're really getting screwed on internet in cold weather areas. So that's why another reason why North United States gets screwed and Canada gets screwed. There's a lot of people in Canada that I know and talk to and play games with often that have shoddy internet. Their internet just doesn't work very well because of cold weather.
Here's the problem though with the Canadians though, they have bad internet and they just say they're sorry.
So
Careful now. We have Canadian viewers, okay?
I love Canada, meow. So
ni hao. Okay.
I said meow, not ni hao.
I thought you said ni hao. I'm like, all right, that might be slightly racist.
Chinese.
I'm going to touch on a couple points that we got in the comments here. So Yaochan Prime talks about leaving options open. I think that's a great point, and I'm actually going to touch really quick on the personal thing that I'm having with God of War right now. So I just downloaded it the other night. I did digital because it was 11 o'clock at night, and there's no place on the face of the planet that will get me a copy in an hour. I guess Walmart, but anyways, so I downloaded it, and the nice thing, at least
that's because they're not America. That's why they can do it.
The nice thing, at least about Sony, is it allows me to, if I have the internet connection to download it, I don't have to be online to play it. When it's registered to your account from online, that's the only time you need it, unless you go to patch. And then Nalene brings up the great topic of stupid day one patches.
How do they not know that there's an issue with their game before they ship them all out? I mean, haven't they done all the testing?
So games going gold nowadays
before they're even
doesn't mean right. Games going gold, it just means that they're printing the discs basically and they're going for release. But they're not fully tested by the time a game goes gold. So yeah, every game is rushed because everything is a yearly release now. Oh, we need the new Assassin's Creed on October 31st. We need the new Call of Duty on October 1st. You know, there seriously is a week every year called Call of Duty week, because that's the week that Call of Duty comes out every single year for the last 8 years. That's ridiculous. So these day one patches are necessary. And in order to go and play your games, fully functional, disc or not, you need to get online.
Hey, I have an idea. How can we save money? Let's make the people who buy the game beta test it.
Exactly.
Let them complain and then we'll fix it. They've already given us their money.
Actually, Sea of Thieves was heavily critiqued for being a public beta test when it released. And it still is being critiqued that way. It's obviously changing, but again, it's a game that they're spending millions and millions of dollars on.
I feel like Sea of Thieves is like No Man's Sky in the ocean. It's a game that came out that's just very empty feeling, and then they just keep patching more stuff into it to fill it up. And it kind of has that same feel. I'm not saying Sea of Thieves is as bad of a game as No Man's Sky, but the same structure where... I don't know if you guys played No Man's Sky. I played it. I probably got about 15, 20 hours into it. It was literally just a bunch of driving straight forward. I mean, I could land on a planet and look around, but there was nothing to do. It was empty. You know, they've since been adding stuff now. You can build bases. You can do all kinds of different things like that. Whereas like Sea of Thieves, it came in, basically all you can do is just go and find treasure chests and that kind of stuff. But I've been hearing that they're going to keep adding stuff into the game to kind of fill that world to keep people interested.
I play Sea of Thieves, so sorry to cut you off, Orphan. I play Sea of Thieves, and I love it. It's a great game. One of the things about it is that the way they developed it with the intention of releasing it with the content that it currently had, while always ever changing the content and making it to where stuff can always be discovered and done differently. It is designed to be a pseudo-repetitive game, but with the repetition, it changes because of PvP. It is centered around being a pirate. They made it literally as you would expect it to be. Yeah, you're pillaging and plundering and going and get all this stuff from islands and shipping around and stuff like that and fighting each other if you decide. Sea of Thieves is actually really fun in that aspect. Now, is there room for improvement on release? Yes, there was a lot of room for improvement because on release, for some reason, they didn't expect that many people to try and log into their game. Yet on the beta weekend that they let everybody play for free, that everybody went in and played it, it was controlled, no problems with logging in. Day one release, everybody's getting these errors, and it's like you didn't prepare your servers for that. So it's like they're underestimating instead of overestimating. Like you never need to underestimate your opponent. And right now, developers' opponents are the players because players want to break your game. That's going to be what they want to do all the time. They want to break your game. They want to make you look stupid. So, like, we all find glitches in games and then we exploit the shit out of it. That's what we do. That's what gamers are. So, like, and Nalene talks about, being a software developer, that he can say when you rush and releases and do crunch time releases, you get garbage. And that's what happens. And nobody ever really comes out of that. And you'd be surprised. Sometimes it feels like our customers are only looking for bugs and inconsistencies instead of actually using the software. The day release of the upgraded version of Secret of Mana, I was watching a person play it. They found a glitch on their first playthrough, and they spent an hour and a half trying to exploit the glitch. Instead of just playing the fucking game, they were trying to exploit the glitch because speedrunning is a thing. Speedrunning is great. I like to consider myself pseudo speedrunner. I like casual playthroughs, but speedrunners can ruin a gaming community in a freaking heartbeat because what happens? They find the fastest way to do things, and they find that glitch, and all of a sudden they're at the end of the game beating Ganon. That's what happens.
You mean beating Link to the Past in 3 minutes?
Yeah, beating Link to the Past, a typical hour and a half game on a speed run without glitches in 3 minutes. Like what the hell?
Yeah,
come on.
I know that.
Well, and there's ones for bringing back Bloodborne in the conversation. There's one for Bloodborne where you can literally you like jump over this invisible part of a fence, and you're like at the end of the game. They turn what essentially is like a 40-hour game into like a 4-minute game.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's sad that that's the way that things are.
Super Mario 64. Another one. They programmed something in there to stop you from going up the stairs. It's an infinite stair. And somebody figured out a way to break that by jumping backwards infinitely to break the game. Like, holy crap. Like, good Lord. I get it. You want to do it as fast as possible, but there's an element. There's a reason why I only pick certain speed runs. If I'm going to speed run a game and it's going to just outright skip the entire game because of a glitch, I feel like I'm doing a disservice to developers because
I'd rather buy a loot box to do that.
Okay, Battlefront 2.
You just can't.
I was going for Shadow of Mordor, but
You just can't do that in Belgium now because they've actually deemed it loot boxes gambling,
it's
and they are
officially
now
outlawed.
officially illegal in Belgium. So,
as of today.
Yep.
GG Belgium.
One more thing I'd like to make note of on the disc to digital thing before we kick into our first game, if you guys don't mind, you can make some comments on it too, is with digital games, I don't like the fact that if I buy a digital copy of a game, that, for example, Sony, they can take it away by banning me. You lose you lose your entire game library if for some reason your account gets banned. Now, obviously, don't do something stupid, but on the same side, you paid for the game. You know what I mean? And then they revoke the license when they ban you.
I have an idea for that. So what if they did this? They incorporated the ability, if you buy a digital copy of a game, that they start coming out with either DVD rewritables or something to that effect, where they give you the ability to actually burn a physical copy yourself. So that way you can keep a physical copy of the game. I feel like that's an answer to that, where they make, because everything is a Blu-ray now, pretty much. PlayStation 4 games and Xbox One games are Blu-ray copies. That's all they are.
So then why not just buy the physical copy to begin with?
One, you can't get to a store. It's not available at the store because of release, things of that nature. Like the ability to just do it yourself at your convenience. If you want to do it to back up your stuff, it's no different than making a physical copy of your OS.
I don't see how Sony couldn't ban someone without removing their licenses on the games they purchased. They should be able to just ban it from online services, like where they can log in, but they just don't have access to any of the servers. Enough where they can access their game library, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's no reason why Sony can't implement something like that. And that's one of
Just
the
kick
reasons
you
why
offline,
I won't.
basically.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I wouldn't go 100% digital on a AAA game. One that I'm spending 30, 40, 60 bucks on, is because if something happens and my account gets banned, they basically just took my entire game library.
Been there. I got banned on the launch day of Neo. Long story. I can get into it a little bit later, but I can shorten it too. But expanding on Unknown's idea, why don't they just include, say, I don't know, like a 4 gig USB that you plug in, and all it's doing is basically copying your writes onto the USB. It's because
Your
a lot
licenses?
of these game discs. Yeah,
Why not just partition the hard drive built into it and have that just for licenses?
you could do that too, because essentially, I mean, all these the discs that you're basically buying nowadays have very little actual data
It's
on them.
mainly
They're-
activation key.
It's a 16-digit code written onto a disc.
Yeah.
Hey, in all honesty, there are even times that you will buy a game or buy a program, open the box, and there's nothing in it but cards. That's it.
Yeah, just a card with a code.
As a matter of fact, a lot of antivirus softwares are that way now.
Yeah.
WebRoot, when you buy WebRoot, it's literally you open the thing and it's just cards. And
Well,
it's
same
like, go
with
to this
same with
website.
like Quicken and TaxCut, all the
Microsoft Office.
Microsoft
and-
Office.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
That's all download. But I don't
It's-
see any reason why Microsoft would just be like, "Oh, you're banned. Now you can't use Microsoft Word." But Sony on the other
That's-
side, you're banned. Now you've just lost $500 worth of games.
It comes down to they don't care. They don't care whether or not you're going to be banned from or not. They got their money. But at the same time, as gamers, we want an answer to that, and they can definitely do something like Orphan was saying with the actual setup of like a USB drive or something like that, and that actually opens up something else for them too. Think about this: if they have these, Final Fantasy X X2 remakes HD on PlayStation, where it's like this, updated copy, what is stopping them from bundling games that are their right to bundle and making game bundles on 16 gig, 32 gig hard, small little drives and things like that, because they already allow you to expand your hard drive space on your consoles with USB thumb drives anyway. They already let that happen.
Well, I think you can actually
So-
put new hard drives in it too. I know I
you
replaced the
can
hard
do-
drive on my PS3, so I mean you could always do that too.
Yeah,
So-
that's the only thing you can. Yeah, you can do that too. But I mean, there was actually a point in time where Xbox 360 used to have that, where you could buy a
The one that you
Xbox
click on the
360
top of it, yeah.
No. I'm talking about USB drives.
Oh.
They used to sell
Oh.
USB drives with games on them. You would get a free game on there. I got Geometry Wars on one of these USB drives that I bought for my Xbox 360, because my Xbox 360 was a 4 gig hard drive, and good lord, that's like absurdly small. So I bought this big.
You must have
USB
bought
stick
the
that was-
arcade, the Xbox 360
I-
arcade.
I was working as a server at the time, and I wanted gaming, so I bought the smallest fucking version I could buy.
And then realized
But,
that the smallest version you can buy does absolutely nothing.
Yeah, you could not do shit. on
Couldn't
it.
do a damn
I was
thing
so
with it.
mad. I was so mad.
I just saved
I'm-
myself $150 on this arcade version. Now I gotta go spend $200 on a hard drive so I can use the damn thing. So,
And noise gate.
damn it.
Gotta fix your mic.
I gotta
yeah,
figure out what
like,
the hell does that.
I don't know. It's got to be some sort of noise suppression on your mic. But
Maybe.
yeah, just like, and Kingspork is right. They don't want players to have rights, and that is the case. They don't care about us until we buy their game, and then they only care about us enough to give us updates and break the game for us, and then we have to bitch at them on forums and Reddit and stuff like that. Once we pay for their initial game, though, unless we're paying, and that's one reason why some game developers are better than others. Like Blizzard has its problems, but let's face it, Blizzard's got a lot of its shit figured out. For WoW, they something breaks, they're on it. They fix it.
Yeah.
Because they have subscribers. They have people who pay 15 to 30, 40 bucks
Pay
a
every
month
month,
to
yep.
play this damn game. And anybody who pays a monthly fee for a game has a voice. Anybody who has only paid 60 bucks for a game, their voice is just on Reddit. That's about it.
Right.
So, like, it sucks, but that's the fact of the matter. So,
Cool. Guys, what we're going to do here is we're going to kick over into our first game. People in the chat, will you let me know if the game volume of this is too loud? We tested it earlier, but it's still difficult. If it's too loud, let me know. But we're going to kick over into video game Family Feud. So let's get this done.
You're going down, motherfucker.
I'm going down.
You buckle up. Just as a side note, a couple of you guys in the comments brought up some really good games and stuff to talk about. We will be touching on those. It's in the segment we'll be having shortly after this. Ark especially brought up some really good games to talk about and stuff. So if you're still around, we'll
Please stick around. We will touch on that.
Yes.
Definitely touch on
Oh,
you don't have the glorious mustache.
Okay, so whenever I give you a really weird answer, I'm gonna need you to like actually lean over and be like, and do weird.
Volume is a bit loud.
We're on family television.
Sorry, guys.
that band.
We're,
Yeah. Okay. All right. So it should be good. Guys, welcome to Video Game Family Feud, and I've got a border around my screen. Just deal with it. What we're doing here today, guys, is I've developed 4 rounds of Family Feud. Orphan is going to go against Unknown. They're all video game related topics. And so we're going to do the 4 rounds. At the end of the 4 rounds, we're going to crown a winner. The winner doesn't get anything. It's the game where points are made up and the score don't matter. So,
whose line is it anyway?
whose line is it anyways?
Steve,
So-
audio buries us. We need to drop the audio a little bit more again.
Is there still music playing? There shouldn't be.
Not sure. Corrality is telling us that it's burying us, but that may be in response to what he is listening to now. Nalene does say it's fine. Just continue telling us in chat, guys. We'll fix it as we go.
All right, let's just double check here real quick.
Okay. more music.
No more music. So yeah, that was a delay.
Okay. It's good now. Thank you, hon. All right, guys, first round.
Yeah, right. We get
Here, here is the question. I don't know if you guys can see it, but you'll just have to take my word for it because you'll see a delay on the stream. The question is, what are the top 5 grossing video games of 2015?
Unknown.
Unknown.
Top 5 grossing games of 2015, and I'm blanking. Oh God.
Get a buzzer. Buzzer.
God. 2015 is killing me now.
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty?
Yeah.
Number 1 on the board. Would you like to continue to play, or do you want to pass?
Shoot. 2015. I'm gonna pass. No, go for it.
Unknown, it is your board. Here, let me reset the...
Oh my God, 2015.
There
That
we
is
go.
such a estranged year. 3 years ago, what released?
Winner does get bragging rights. 5.
Alright, Minecraft.
Incorrect. Strike
Okay.
1. 5.
What other?
4.
You gotta give me a little bit more time
3.
than that. Like you just gave me the first X, and you're like, oh,
Not like pressure.
we're gonna go with Madden 25. Madden is gonna be one of my guesses.
Madden 98.
Madden 98 was the top selling game of 2015. We'll give you Madden on that one. Madden NFL 16 is the number 2 answer.
Oh shoot.
Okay, I'm gonna go with what would be another one that would be on that time frame?
Frogger. Chips Challenge.
Pog.
Oh my God. SMB 1, 2015. 2015 was 3 years ago. Super Mario Maker.
Strike 2.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that actually released that year, but I'm not surprised that it wasn't a top seller.
Mm-hmm. You got 1 strike left, 3 answers left on the board.
You have to remember when Super Mario Maker came out. I think only like 6 people had a Wii U. So.
Right? No kidding.
Come on, it was 7.
Oh right, you had one too.
I had one. So, 6 other people.
Yeah.
What was another game that came out then? I'm gonna go with NBA.
Strike
Probably
3.
wrong. Yeah.
All right, so we've got 58 points up for grabs. Orphan, what is your guess?
2015, 3 years ago. Let's
Not as easy as it
go.
sounds.
No, I know.
5,
go.
4, 3.
I had it on the tip of my tongue what I was going to guess too. No, I lost it. Let's go with the original Battlefront.
Ooh.
Dun 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 ding. That was number
Nice.
4 on the board, guys. So
Good.
yeah, 58 points going to Orphan. The other answers on the board: number 3, Fallout 4,
Fallout.
Oh,
and
shit.
number 5, guys. I thought this was the softball. Are you ready for this? GTA 5,
Really?
Grand Theft
That
Auto
wasn't-
5.
That wasn't the highest value game for 2015. Oh, well, it came out in 2014.
Yeah. So, yeah, Grand Theft Auto 5. So we got 58 points on the board for Orphan. We got to move on to round 2, guys.
Apparently, we are a little bit quiet, according to Meowtron.
Oh,
Prime.
did you
Yeah, I got
pull
it.
down the full audio?
Yeah, I got it there. So, all right, it should be back up to par, guys, for that. All right, let's move on to the next one. Music might be a little bit loud. Sorry, guys. I've only got one volume source. GTA 5 is still kicking ass.
It's selling a lot. They actually just made a whole brand new special edition of it.
Oh, did they? Really?
They're gonna stop selling the base game, and they're gonna sell product placement. By the way, Coca-Cola.
The only game that I actually
Sponsor us,
played-
Coke. Sponsor us. But they're going to release it in the special edition now, where it's going to include like online money and other stuff. I guess I don't know.
Shark Money or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Shark
I
card?
don't know. Megalodon cards.
All right, guys. Round
Okay.
2. Are you ready for round 2, guys?
Apparently not. I wasn't very ready for round 1.
All right. Question is: top 6 video games based on a corporate mascot.
Unknown.
Unknown.
Cool spot.
Cool Spot. What? Yeah, that's actually number 1.
I'm gonna fucking fail this one.
Okay, hold on a second here, guys. This is,
I
hold on,
I
this
think
is
I'm
messing
gonna
up here for me.
rip.
Let's try this again.
Same answer. Cool spot.
All right. So Cool Spot. Wow, this thing is like just not working. Here, give me 1 second, guys.
An O-rate mascot.
Orporate, yeah.
We're an irate mascot. I'm gonna pass.
You're gonna pass.
I'm gonna pass.
All right,
Yes.
Orphan. You get three chances here.
Gosh,
I've got-
based on a
I've-
corporate Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese. There was a game based on Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, there was actually a game
Oh,
based on
There
Chuck E.
was.
Cheese. Yeah.
That's wrong.
I've got a game in my back. I got a game back in my back pocket that I'm hoping he doesn't get. I can steal points.
I tell you right now, I might as well just go out there and Chester Cheeto. I don't even know these answers.
Chester Cheetah. That's actually on the board.
Oh, it's
There it is, a Chester.
There is. It's too cool for fool. That's the name of the game.
Yeah,
um.
that was the last one on there too. That's funny.
Yes. Oh God, I don't even know. Let's go with Tony the Tiger.
From Frosted Flakes.
Yeah,
He's great.
That's wrong.
he's got a shitty game.
1 strike left.
He's got a shooting game.
And no, shitty game.
You have to go find Tony the Tiger.
You have to hunt him,
It's
and
like-
then you get
it's like
chastised
Slender
online
Man.
for hunting endangered
And he's like, "Oh
animals.
shit!"
It's like Slender Man. Just Tony the Tiger following you around.
All right, you got 1 strike left, Orphan. What is your guess?
Oh, corporate mascots. I don't know. I don't even know that many corporate mascots.
5, 4.
I'll take the X.
All right. I have a feeling I know exactly what Unknown is going to say, but we got
Yo, Noid!
34 points up for grab, and Yo Noid is number 4.
Oh, I actually knew about that game.
Yeah,
too.
if you guys don't know what that game is, essentially it's based off of the Noid from the old Domino's commercial. It's actually a really fun game. I was learning the speed run for it for quite a while.
I remember you told me about that too.
Yep.
Yeah, I even told you about it. Damn it, pay attention.
I don't listen to you. Sorry.
No, you don't. All right, guys. So 34 points goes to Unknown. We're going to move on to round 3. And that's not even right. There we go. Round 3. The question is the top 7 most controversial games of all time.
What was 2, 3, and 5?
Oh, yeah. I suppose I could.
Oh.
Yeah. It was Kool-Aid Man at number 2.
Cool.
Yeah, it was. Mick Kids at number 3.
Nick Kids?
Mick Kids.
What?
And number 5 was Pepsi Invaders.
Okay.
Oh man, somebody even said Pepsi in the.
Yeah. I was wondering if somebody was just going to shout that out. So
I thought about it.
That's funny. I would have never gotten Nick Kids. Good lord.
Mick Kids was ridiculous. It was fun, but it was just stupid. All right, so top 7 most controversial games of all time.
Unknown.
Me.
Unknown said it first.
I'll
Oh.
give him his claps. He was technically clapping, trying to get attention. You know, like a seal.
It is a McDonald's game, yes.
A McDonald's. That
Come on,
Which
you
Call
wanted
of
to go
Duty was it?
first.
it's the Call of Duty that had the freaking shooting scene in it. I'm trying to remember which one it was though. It would have been Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, either way, it's just going to be wrong. It's wrong.
Oh, okay.
Unknown, go ahead.
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto.
If I need to be
Bing.
specific, I'll tell you.
Number 6 on the board with 5 points. Do you want to pass or play?
So, top 7 most controversial games of all time. I'm going to pass.
You going to pass?
I'm going to pass. I think
All right,
there's a
Orphan.
lot of. I think there's
So
a lot
actually,
of-
coming out of the comments there, that was actually when I was gonna put up Postal.
Postal's actually not on the board.
Really?
Yeah. At least it
Okay.
wasn't on the list that I was getting it off of, at least.
Man, you're getting some shitty information.
I know,
Highly
that
controversial
was a
game.
very controversial game, but...
It's still debated as one of the most controversial games ever
Yep.
released. Carmageddon.
Carmageddon, bam, number 3 on the board for 15 points.
Let's see. Controversial games of all time.
I've actually never heard of Carmageddon.
Oh, really?
Just
It's
basically the whole
like-
idea of running people over.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's like a Postal ripoff almost,
Gotcha.
but it was more about running people over.
Roblox.
Roblox is super controversial. God, controversial games of all time. Grand Theft Auto, Carmageddon. Postal's not on there.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Strike 2.
Okay. Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Conker's Bad Fur Day. No, it's not on the board.
What?
This is
Dang
a
it.
tough list, guys. Come on.
That is a
I know what I'm gonna say, and I'm now thinking it's not gonna be on there. So Postal and Conkers wasn't on there, but Manhunt.
Manhunt is number 4 on the list. So
I knew I like Manhunt was, good God, just so brutal and disgusting at times.
yeah. That
But I'm
Alien brought up a good
surprised.
one. Wolfenstein's a highly controversial game. too.
Wolfenstein's not on
Doom.
the list. We've got number 1, Mortal Kombat.
Where did you pull your information from?
Mortal Kombat, in terms of the general of its time. Mortal Kombat.
All right.
If you guys remember Night Trap, which actually they're re-releasing that game on Switch. I don't know if you remember Night Trap. It was very very cheesy for its time, but essentially it was like the first game that was really, it was like part of that first, like in the 90s, controversy of the games, because it was
Yeah.
essentially these scantily clad women trying to escape some stalker, and it was all real life acting in the game, so it wasn't like CGI or anything. It was like real people in their underwear and stuff, and there was just a big uproar about it.
Duke Nukem, is that on there?
No, number 5, it was said in chat, was Custer's Revenge.
I've never even heard of that game.
Yeah, it's
That is an
isn't it basically
old
about a guy
Atari.
who just goes around raping Indians?
A guy who has a mic that doesn't work 3/4 of the time.
Shut up, I'm the host.
It was an old Atari game that you literally went around shooting Indians and you raped the women.
Yeah,
like
you
that.
raped
It
the
was, like,
native women
really
in it.
bad.
It was pretty bad. And then number 7 on the list, Hatred. Do you guys remember that
Doom
game?
wasn't on there. Good
No,
lord.
Doom wasn't on that list. I checked a
This
couple
must have
different
been-
lists, but you know,
This must have been like internationally.
it might. Yeah, it was probably international. No, it's not Custer. It's Custer's. But yeah, I mean, I looked at a couple lists and I pulled the more common titles. So I mean, it's very possible maybe Postal was on one, but it wasn't on like the 3 or 4 that I checked. So I just kind of went with the more popular ones. So
Sure.
all
Makes
right.
sense.
So yeah, 20 points goes to unknown. We'll move on to the next round here, guys. This is the final round to be crown a champion, Crustard, Colonel Crustard. And the final question is name. Oh shit! Wait, what the hell? What the hell just happened?
Name-
My 4th question's gone. It got deleted. It's
Name
name
a
a kind of
kind
cheese.
Orphan.
Let's just do it. No, you guys have both played this. What the hell? I don't know what happened to my 4th question. It's
That's
gone.
hilarious.
That is funny.
Name a kind of
oh
cheese.
man.
Or cheese.
Green
gonna-
cheese.
Gonna start naming all these random cheeses.
Okay,
Stinky
somebody say their
cheese.
name first.
Orphan.
Orphan. How about this? We're just gonna you name a cheese. You guys will get points until the board's empty. You take turns. Orphan, name a
Oh,
cheese.
okay. Cheddar.
Cheddar. Let me grab this.
So unfair.
Wait, so okay, wait a minute. So on
Are
my
your answers on there?
my answers are on here, but the question didn't change.
Okay, well, what's the question then?
Just tell us the question, and then we'll just still do the answers. If your answers are still there.
Well, my answers are there, but I'm trying to remember what the category was, because all it says for me now is name a kind of cheese.
The best way to
Oh,
fire a
okay,
hose.
I know what it is. Okay, sorry, I know what it is. Okay, there's the top 8 most copies of a game sold. So the number of units sold of all time.
So are we guessing the number of units?
No, you're
the
guessing
game?
the game. The game that holds
So-
the top 8 spots for most units sold.
Unknown.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say Grand Theft Auto, and I'm gonna go specific. 3.
I'm gonna give it to you. It's Grand Theft Auto 5
Grand Theft Auto 5. Okay.
at number
That's
number
fine.
4 spot. Unknown.
Can we clarify something real quick?
Yes.
Are there any repeat games as like
No,
if we say
Franchise.
okay,
no, there's not.
good. So no repeat games of franchise.
It's not like game 1 and then game 2. There's nothing like that. No.
I just wanted to make sure that if we said blanket game franchise, that it'd be okay.
Yep,
So,
it will be. Orphan, do you want to try to beat him on the board?
Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
That is not on the board.
How the hell is that on the board?
It's
Call
not.
of
This
Duty's not on
list,
there.
I know this list is factual, so don't bitch about this one to me. I know this one's good. All right, Unknown, do you want to pass or do you want to play?
All right.
You're gonna pass?
There's a Call of Duty on that list.
There's not.
Wow.
He would have given it to you. 'cause
Yeah, I would have given
remember
it to
I
you.
said
So,
Okay. All right. Give me an X.
wow, no, that was your guess to try to beat him to
All right.
control the board.
We're not
Um,
gonna, we're not gonna give you an X on that, man.
Nope.
hmm.
The most number of units sold for a video game.
Oh man. I typically keep track of this kind of shit too. There's a Zelda game on there. I'm gonna guess Ocarina of Time, but
No Zelda games on the list.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so I think 30 seconds for each guess is going to be a good like blanket time to go ahead and
Yeah, since you're a single contestant, trying to think
Yep.
up of all the answers.
No,
Um,
'1's. Yeah.
30 seconds.
Top units sold all time.
I'm very surprised that you're struggling on this list.
I'm surprised I am too. It's the pressure.
I'm surprised the Zelda game's not on there.
Yeah.
And we're down to 5 seconds.
4.
Mario.
Number 5 on the list. Super Mario Brothers 1.
Okay.
Starting timer.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
This is I'm not surprised. This is a hard list, man.
It
There's
is-
a lot
it's-
of games
it's-
to go off of.
When you see the games, there's only like one on there that really made me say, "Really, really? That's a top game."
Halo.
Halo. No, not on the list.
Okay.
Second strike.
Second
Starting your
strike.
timer for the last guess.
Um.
Last wrong answer, I guess, if you get a wrong answer.
hmm.
Terraria is number 31. Yeah.
That's funny. I would not have expected to see that either.
I wouldn't have expected that.
Mm-mm.
In that vein, then let's go with Minecraft.
Number 3 on the list at 17.
That was my
points.
pocket guess. Damn.
Oh.
Okay. Got me on my pocket guess. Starting your 30-second timer.
Uh,
I'm really surprised. I thought this list would be pretty straightforward.
I tell you right now, number 1 is gonna fucking bite me in the ass when you reveal it.
Yeah.
It is number 1 and number 2. To be honest with you.
Oh God. I feel like I probably have this game in my goddamn living
And
room too.
5 seconds.
Uh,
4.
3, 2,
Gears of War.
wrong. That was a terrible guess.
I
You
know.
buckled under the pressure.
I did.
Unknown raising his hand.
World of Warcraft.
Oh fuck.
Actually, not on the list.
Oh,
Well, not on the top.
What?
Not on the top 8 at least. I think mostly because it's more so expansion packs and not necessarily the base game. So, but number 1 on the list. Are you guys ready to really kind of feel like asses?
I cannot believe World of Warcraft's not on there.
Tetris, number 1.
Uh,
Number 2. Wii
Somebody said
Sports.
Somebody
Oh,
said
shit.
Wii Sports too. What? How is Wii Sports on there? That
Because
you did not
it's-
purchase that game. It
because
came
it-
with the freaking console.
They considered it units moved because it came. Everybody who got a Wii got one.
Then they're wrong. Then they're wrong.
So, points go to Orphan on that one, right? Yeah.
yeah.
So,
6, 7, and 8.
all right, number 6, guys. Mario Kart Wii.
Mario Kart. I'm not surprised. by that
Number
one.
7,
Mario
Diablo
Kart.
3.
Wow. I'm a little surprised that got there.
This is the one that kind of surprised me. And number 8, Wii Play. That was the one that came with the free controller. I think most people bought it only for the controller because it was cheaper than buying a controller by itself. So, if you guys remember that, it came with those really shitty like air hockey games. It was supposed to be like an addition to Wii Sports, but it was just garbage. I think everybody bought it literally because it came with a free Wiimote.
Mm.
It
And
was
Here,
World of Warcraft.
30,
World of Warcraft
30
was
bucks
not
you
a
got the
garbage.
Wiimote and the game, whereas I think you could just pay like 30 or 40 bucks for just a Wiimote by itself. So
WoW would probably be at the top if you took the sales of all their
expansion,
expansions.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I think the list was going off of just base game, not expansions. So games,
I even
games
still
like
think with the
the
base game.
games like
the original
Sims, like the
game.
Sims would be another one too, like with all their expansion packs, and different things like that. So
The thing that surprises me though is that it's talking about all time, and to get the expansions, new players are coming in all the time. You have to move the base game. You can't just buy the expansion. That's why World of Warcraft not being on there, but Diablo 3 pisses me off. It shouldn't be on there.
all right, guys.
World of Warcraft only has, I think, like between 3 and 4 million total copies sold. If I remember correctly, Diablo 3 is in like the 5 to 6 million range.
All right, so we're going to add up the points, see who won. Orphan has got himself 100 total points. They both won 2 rounds, but did Unknown get enough?
No.
You're damn right he didn't. So
math is power.
His power in numbers unknown, and he had more numbers.
Knowing's half the battle. G.I. Joe.
Because knowledge is power. But awesome time, guys. I don't know why the question disappeared on that one, but thankfully we had the answer, so it wasn't completely ruined. Let's kick it back into the main scene here, guys. Welcome back. Hey, somebody gave me a point. Thank you. So should have studied more cheese. Yeah, no kidding. What's the top selling cheese of all time? I mean, come on, really? So guys, what we're going to kick into the second half of the show here is some new releases, specifically games that have come out, relatively recent that, that we've got some intel on at this point because, there's been time for them to be played. There's been time for them to be seen and reviewed and worked out. Some of the games, for example, that have come out recently, Far Cry 5 is a new one. I know that one's a really big game. God of War just came out, 5 days ago. Ni no Kuni 2's been out for a couple weeks. A Way Out. Nintendo Labo just came out, yesterday or 3 days ago? Or no, that was on the 20th Monday. As well. Same day as God of War, I believe.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? So, are you guys playing any of these games at all? What is your feedback on some of these new releases?
Well, what I've been talking about for a while tonight is God of War, aka Dad of Boy.
Dad of Boy.
Dad of Boy or Father of Son, you choose. It's been a fantastic game. I'm about 4 hours into it, and ultimately I've never played a God of War game in its entirety ever. Actually, the only God of War I've played was a demo way back when from PlayStation Magazine that they gave me for God of War 1, and I loved it. It was a nice little fun hack and slash. But the game has evolved with the times. It's not the same hack and slash it was back in 1, 2, and 3.
Axe Daddy.
Axe Daddy.
That sounds so creepy.
It kind of does.
Yeah. So, but it's been a really enjoyable experience. I would actually say it's a little bit more akin to Horizon Zero Dawn in the way that it's storytelling wise, it's more focused on storytelling than it is going out and being this bad ass Kratos that's just killing gods all the time. He's a little more tempered down, and what ultimately drove me to get it was I was watching a couple of videos on YouTube, and I really enjoyed the way that the gameplay looked. It really kind of drew me in. Seemed like it was really intuitive and really kind of just it had meaning. Anytime he throws his axe, there's weight behind it. Everything just seems very well done. The mocap is amazing. The graphics are amazing. And so I actually looked at Metacritic, which as of last night, when I looked it up to go buy it, 101 critics voted a 95 out of 100, and 3,400 user score at 9.3 out of 10.
Wow.
That's gotta be one of the best games to be reviewed in a very long time.
Well, at least since Breath of the Wild, right?
I don't even know if Breath of the Wild was up there.
I remember reading a story. The guy's name is it Jim Sterling? He got so much shit because he was the first and only person to not give Zelda Breath of the Wild a perfect score. And he got so much shit. And the problem is that he is known for doing this kind of stuff. He does that all the time on games that everybody's just like, this game's perfect. He's like, meh, 99. And he just fucks the perfect scores. He's known for doing that kind of stuff. And people gave him a lot of shit on the Breath of the Wild side of it for that too. But
so touching really quick on what Naileen said about hopping on the open world fad. I had thought that God of War was kind of jumping onto the bandwagon of being open world. It's surprisingly not open world, at least as far as I've gotten. I've gotten to the part where it allows me to kind of move around a little bit more freely, but the world that it's given me so far has been fairly narrow and linear. There's been a couple of offshoots where you can go and find some special treasures and things like that, but it's been surprisingly linear. Um, I think it's because it's in a storytelling mode at the moment. I'll touch base on it in a couple weeks when we revisit, and I've had some more time with it. But really not as open world as I thought it was going to be, which is to tell a story like that and not be open world is super refreshing.
Yeah, it sounds like the reviews it's getting are definitely deserved. I've never played a God of War game, but it sounds like they are very well reserved on well deserved on just the very little gameplay and the stuff I'm hearing about it. So it's nice.
Yeah. If you've never played a God of War game and you really, really want a high quality game to go check out, this is a great time to step into the world. It definitely does a good job of telling you what's going on and getting you into the world without you having played a God of War game before.
I don't mind open world, but like you said, when it comes to open world, if they're going to do that, they need to give you a direction with like chances to actually go out and find things and stuff like that. Like I don't. If they have open world, it's got to be done right, and Breath of the Wild did it right. But with a lot of these new games, I watched a lot of them be played. Far Cry, God of War, Kuni 2. I've not seen A Way Out. I know that is on. That's on Steam as well, isn't it?
That I don't know.
Okay. You can get it. It's an EA game, so you can get it through their launcher.
Origin.
Yeah, Origin.
Okay. But I've watched a lot of the stuff with Labo and things like that, and we touched on that earlier. The thing that's interesting about, like, I don't know, Ni no Kuni 2, I've noticed this with a lot of these newer games coming out. Like, back when, what was it? What is it called? Nier Automata? When that came out.
Yeah.
A lot of these games that are coming out, the original games just had a cult following. Like Nier, the original Nier was not really considered that good of a game, but Automata is super. Everybody loves it. So they did a lot of polishing and things like that. So things that the original God of War games were missing, where it was just like the same thing over and over again with God of War, but they went up to 3. They were missing a lot of things. They really polished and took advantage of a lot of the stuff to actually make it what it needs to be, what you really expect out of a God of War game, or expect out of a game that's like that, not just God of War, but a game that is actually a part of that genre of games. Same thing with like Far Cry 5. It's one of those things where they've done a lot to perfect what you can do and the kind of stuff you can do, and decisions matter, that kind of stuff. It's like these new games that are coming out that have a established line of games are recreating their actual base games, and they're becoming new. So you can't just say, oh, did you play Far Cry 3? Well, you'll love this. Can't do that anymore. So I find that very interesting with a lot of these new games coming out, that they're redefining what they are.
Sure.
Right.
Now the only games out of this list that I have any experience with are the Ni no Kuni 2 and A Way Out, and I mean I'll give my personal reviews on those. Son of a bitch. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. The only games that I'm playing out of those 5 that I have up there are Ni no Kuni 2 and A Way Out. I'm currently working through both of those. Ni no Kuni 2, for anybody who doesn't know, it's just your standard JRPG type game. But they introduced a really cool feature, which is a kingdom builder. Essentially, the game is about a 12-year-old boy who becomes king when his father is killed. There's a military coup. He's run out of his kingdom, and so he decides to build a new kingdom. And a big aspect of this game is the kingdom builder. So my mic doesn't cut out. So rip you guys. Is the kingdom builder. And what's really cool about that is as you go through the game, you can actually recruit people into your kingdom to come live for you, and you can assign them to different buildings to work, whether it be the armory, the weapon shops, the spells, the spell shop, and all these different places that you can assign them, and they gather goods for you. They can upgrade your armor, as they build up levels and that kind of stuff. and that's a really cool aspect of it. And as well as that, I mean, there's just so much stuff to do in this game, in terms of side quests and that kind of stuff. I'm about 30 hours into it. I'm on the final boss, but I kind of don't want to beat it because I still just kind of want to explore the world. I feel like there's an entire 25% of the map that was never even used in the game. That's completely unexplained, and I want to know. I want to go find out why and what the hell this whole area is. Like this, literally, I'm not even kidding. There's 25% of the map that they've never even sent me to, and I'm on the final boss. And but it's a great game for anybody who's ever played the first one. Very lighthearted, very family friendly, so it's not like super violent or anything like that. But it's very approachable. Good game there. And A Way Out is it's made by, I forget the name of the developers, but they're the ones who made Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. If you remember that game, it was a one-player game, but you use both joysticks to control two different people at the same time. In this game here, there is no one-player mode. It's only two-player. You can play online with someone, or you can actually play couch co-op with someone, and you each control one of the two characters in the game that are essentially trying to break out of jail to track down and kill this guy named Harvey because he basically did both of them wrong. And it's a cool game. It's a little slow, I'm finding, but just the teamwork aspect of it is very cool, and I think that it's a good stepping stone for more games in that genre to be able to build upon what they've done with that kind of a format of game. If you guys haven't had a chance, I mean, both of them are pretty good. A Way Out's only $30, so it's not like it's a $60 game or anything like that. But definitely something fun to play if you got a friend or something that just wants to come over and you kind of want to play an interactive story. So.
Yeah, I watched a couple of videos on A Way Out. I haven't played it yet, but it definitely seems like a fun little game to play with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it takes some co-op, and then also it's got essentially at times it's almost like you're playing two different games. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you're on one screen talking to somebody doing something, and your friends on the other side of the screen doing whatever they're doing. You know, kind of playing their own game. One thing, the other thing I want to touch on really quick on Far Cry 5. The one thing that I have been reading about is, and this is something you don't see on too many games nowadays because they're all about pushing graphics and everything. Their optimization. The optimization that Far Cry 5 has on PC is near unprecedented. It apparently will run on anything from a toaster to a supercomputer and look almost identical on everything in between. I have seen video comparisons and stuff.
All you potato users, get out there, get Far Cry 5.
It will run on your potato and your toasters.
Can I play it on my fridge?
Hey,
yeah, your Samsung, yeah, your family hub Samsung. But that's one thing that's I think a lot of devs don't really get into that I thought Far Cry 5 did very, very well. Ubisoft stepping it up after about 3-4 years of serious fuck ups.
I mean, that's one of the things too. I feel like they actually took the time to talk to console creators like Sony and Microsoft and just ask them, hey, what can we do to make an amazing game for you? And they actually came out with just something spot on and did exactly what they needed to do. They took the time to figure out what to make to make it optimized. Like you said, that's the perfect word. And that's what most developers and the console, it's not just developers, the consoles need to reach out and actually talk to developers. Because if they're not going to do that, then why are you making consoles? The whole point is to be able to play games on the damn consoles. Right. So I get it. And I really hope more developers are going to start trying to do that and actually focus more on what can we do to make the games play better on everything. Not just okay, let's put out this super intensive game that nobody can play because everything's going to fuck up. And it's like...
Oh, you mean Crysis?
Period. Period. It's just like everything that they want to put out nowadays is like, we want to make it look great, but nobody focuses on anything that's worth a shit anymore. We want good gameplay. We want to play a game. There's a reason why retro games have held up over so long. Link to the Past, fucking playing Mario 64, and all these games that are just like shit graphics. We still play these games.
The reason why Terraria is number 31 on the highest unit sold.
Minecraft, Minecraft, like literally one of these games that just people play that is not graphics. It's not about graphics. It's about the ability to play the game and just have some fun and do random shit. It's like, make a game that people want to play and worry about graphics later. Graphics is something that's nice, and it's always good to have a very beautiful game to look at. That's the same thing with Sea of Thieves. Like, they focused on interactivity and making sure that even if you're doing the same thing over and over again, it feels different every time. And you actually are accomplishing some things that are, even though it's pseudo repetitive, you're actually doing things. You're not just sitting there going, all right, guys, what are we doing now? You always do something. So like, I appreciate that about developers that are actually taking time to figure things out.
It's nice to see, you know, with these games that we're talking about, Far Cry, God of War, Ni no Kuni, A Way Out. I mean, you can go on to like Mario Odyssey, Zelda, the new Assassin's Creed games, or Assassin's Creed game. You know, these developers are realizing we can't just go and push a game out every single year. We need to take a little bit of time between each game and really develop something new, fresh, and exciting. RNG, I don't know if you want to step into like new game hype and
upcoming games.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Perfect segue.
Some of the upcoming games I'm sure you're going to mention. You know, look at the Mario Tennis, Detroit Become Human, Octopath Traveler on the Switch, as well as the new Tomb Raider, Red Dead Redemption 2, Spider-Man, as well as some others. Any particular one that you want to touch on?
Well, I know. I guess I'll touch really quick on Red Dead Redemption. More so because they're hopping on the Battle Royale bandwagon, which I'm not. I guess if there's one mainstream game that's going to hop on the bandwagon, Red Dead can probably pull it off. Because it's Rockstar.
Yeah.
Rockstar will do it right, and it's kind of the environment that could allow for it with the Old West times and things like that. The other game that I'm just going to throw out there that we didn't put on the list that just came to mind was I know I've talked to you about it before. Not Bloodborne 2, as I reference it.
Not Bloodborne 2.
Yeah, not Bloodborne 2. I can't say a whole lot more than that, but if everybody or anybody is a fan of Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, and what From Software does, I believe I might be right in saying this. Look forward to E3. There's some really, really fun stuff. I have a friend that's working on the game, and look forward to that. That's going to be a super, super hype game. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll have to see if you'd be willing to come on the show and.
Yeah, at least just come and chit chat with us and tell us some things. But like I said, with Activision and stuff, I'm not sure what he can or can't say. But I'm really excited for it. He's super excited to work on it, and I think the community is going to be really happy about it.
Now he worked on like Tony Hawk and Call of Duty and stuff, didn't he?
Yes. Okay. So yeah, he was one of the lead producers, I believe, for the Tony Hawk game, which unfortunately ended up being a flop. And then he was working with not Sledgehammer, but Treyarch.
Yep.
Yeah, Treyarch working on the new whatever Call of Duty they were releasing this year. But he's left, and now he's back with Activision.
Very cool. Unknown, any of these games tickle your fancy at all?
Honestly, I'm actually excited about the Mario Tennis game. I have to say that. I don't have a Switch, but I'm excited about that game, man. I loved Mario Tennis back when it first came out. Like, that was like the only game that I played on the Virtual Boy. Yes, I'm showing my age. Fuck all of
Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
The only console that sold worse than the Wii U.
Now he's Virtual Dad.
Now it's literally the Virtual Boy because you play it on Virtual Console.
The sound got turned down. I'm still showing them at the same decibels.
But I don't know. Can y'all? I'm testing now. Hear me?
Nothing's changed in my ears at all.
Some of it might be Discord. Maybe I can turn my mic up a little bit on my end.
I'm getting your feedback. You're getting audio on my desktop, so
Okay.
I'm not sure what's going on, but
Either way, my thing about Mario Tennis is just I like what they're doing with the console Switch is interactivity. That is like their thing. That's their niche that they have. So they're making it to where there's a lot of interactivity. I've done that to RNG a couple of times. I'm like, dude, something's off. Da, 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 da. And like,
turn
all
your
of a sudden he's
speakers
like,
up, jackass.
Oh yeah. Whoops. But yeah, we like the fact that there's so much interactivity and like they're making it to where it's gonna be fast, quick, and you're not gonna have these long ass tennis games, but it's like there's gonna be a lot of usability on the characters, and I feel like there's going to be a lot like Smash Brothers, which FYI, that's another game I'm excited about.
Yes.
Oh my fucking
completely forgot
lord,
about that
Smash
one.
Brothers.
Everybody get hyped. We will be playing that on this channel.
Yes, the Wii U version. But yeah, hype for Smash Brothers on Switch. So
I'm
totally
very proud of
fucking-
you, Meowtron.
Yeah, Meowtron headphones are usually plug-in devices, so. But undoubtedly, like, dude, freaking the new Smash Brothers is going to be so awesome. Every version of Smash Brothers that they've come out with, I feel like they've done nothing but get better. I don't think they've ever done anything wrong on Smash Brothers, and they all have their own place, even going back and playing them again. And just, it's so much fun. I hope they don't do as much DLC bullshit as they did with the Wii U version and the 3DS version. I hope that they kind of keep up with new characters and get a lot of licenses for good characters. I hope they don't take away Mac. I hope they keep Bayonetta, because those are two really fun characters. Mega Man, like,
I really just hope that they don't stray too far from the Nintendo theme. Going with, obviously, I mean, I'm just talking about, like, the traditional Nintendo characters. They went with, like, Cloud and Ryu and Bayonetta and, all these other characters that they didn't necessarily...
Actually, a lot of them are Sony characters.
Yeah, and,
Well, Bayonetta is a Nintendo character now.
Now,
She
yes.
is owned,
Yeah.
So she's owned it. That's the only reason she was put on the Wii U version, though.
In the traditional sense, though, I don't really consider Bayonetta to be a Nintendo character, just because the origins of that character weren't necessarily, like, say, Mario was always Nintendo. Bayonetta, Cloud's never been on Nintendo, so
Cloud's
so
was.
I just hope they don't stray too far to where it becomes like Nintendo and Sony All-Star Smash Brothers, and there's just like, here comes like Nathan Drake and Kratos beating up on Mario and Yoshi, and I just don't want them to stray too far from that, and otherwise it kind of loses.
On that same respect, who is a good character that they don't have yet from Nintendo Classics or anything like that they could add?
Well, I know for a while they wanted to have Ice Climbers, but they couldn't make it work in there. They're very popular characters from some of the previous ones, I believe, so they could always, try to work in Ice Climbers. Some other ones off the top of my head would be, do they have Kid Icarus? Is that Pit? Was he in that?
Yeah, that's Pit, yeah.
Okay.
They have
Pit and Dark Pit.
They had both, okay. But I mean, there's a bunch of other Nintendo IPs that they could pull off of too.
There's games that are also Nintendo exclusives that aren't Nintendo IP,
mm-hmm.
but Professor Layton would be kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, they're bringing in the Squid Kids.
Yep.
That's good. Yep. I like that. I think there's quite a few of them that they could do that would be interesting to see.
It'd be kind of cool if they could pull in some people from Octopath Traveler. If you guys haven't played the demo, like, what is it, Primrose? It's just badass as hell. I bet you she'd be awesome in Smash.
I think it'd be cool to see the new Odyssey version of Mario as well as an option, like with the hat.
And how about the what do you call them? The what were the name of those little kids? The not Rabbids, but what they call them?
Rabbids.
No, they weren't Rabbids. Now I'm not talking like Rabbids as in like Rayman Rabbids. What were the name of the kids? The mini bosses in Odyssey? Do you guys remember?
Oh, that's all you.
The Koopa Kids.
No, it wasn't the Koopa Kids. They were like, there was like a fat rabbit. There was a girl rabbit. It was some kind of a play
I don't
on
know.
words.
I don't know
but-
what they're called. I know what you're talking about.
But I mean, you could always do something like that. I mean, they have the Kooplings in there. I mean, why not just have like an alternate character where you can just pick one of those guys, from Mario Odyssey, or hell, they can probably put Paulina in there if you're gonna have Princess Peach.
Yeah.
I think
So-
they could. I think they could do a lot.
The Brutals. There you go. Thank you, King.
Yeah, I haven't played Odyssey, so like I gotta get a Switch.
Yeah. There's a lot of characters they could
Somebody
bring
buy
in.
me a Switch.
Yeah,
His birthday's coming up.
yeah.
Yep.
Donate now.
1 month and a day away.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of
The more
there's a lot of
you
characters
know.
that they could, a lot of characters they can bring out of Breath of the Wild, like a Goron and a
Mhm.
Zora, and characters like that they've never
How about the
done.
champions?
Yeah, that's
That
what,
would be cool. That would be
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
stinking cool.
like a Mifa champion and
Daruk,
Daruk.
What is oh god,
Urbosa.
Regali's Gale.
Regali.
Regali's
Oh.
Gale is ready. Fucking.
He was the most obnoxious
oh,
one,
God.
but he had the best ability,
He was-
but he was the most obnoxious every time you heard them say it.
I hung his bow on my wall. I have to say, I hung his bow on my wall.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Mecha Wiggler.
I would love to see freaking Toad be a playable character. Like they could do some stuff like that instead of just having
Isn't
him be
Toad already a
fucking
playable character? No.
No,
He's
no,
a support
we have
character.
Oh, okay.
Shield for Princess Peach is what he is.
Oh.
Yeah,
It's a human shield.
holds him out and wiggles him.
He's just like, hi.
I'll protect you, Peach.
Yeah.
I'll take a bullet for you.
Oh my god. They could actually extend Captain Falcon's universe. Actually, that's what I want them to do. They need to make a new.
What about Froggy?
They need to make a freaking good RPG style F-Zero.
F-Zero.
Mm.
That
For
would be kind of
God's
cool.
sake, do it! Like, oh my god, it would be so much fun.
Why have they ignored F-Zero for the most part? Like
Because
that-
I think it's.
bastards.
it was so
I
good.
think it's because that genre's or dried up. I think over the years, there's so many F-Zero type games that it's just. I think it's dried up. Oh, speaking of revisits and stuff, they did announce apparently Wave Race might be coming back.
no shit from the Dreamcast.
The one that was on Wave Race 64. It may have been on
Oh,
Dreamcast.
okay, all right. I'm thinking of Hydro Thunder on the Dreamcast. Sorry.
Oh no, yeah, not Hydro Thunder. That'd be a cool game to bring back too.
Mhm.
But no, Wave Race with the all
Wave
that
Race
stuff.
1080.
Yeah, Wave Race 4K.
I mean, those games were really fun back in the day. Honestly, if you think about it, that's kind of what we're missing in today's gaming world. One of those just be stupid, goofy, and do like sports style game nowadays. Like they've kind of tried to do that with the Mario and Sonic Winter games or whatever, but it's just
those fall flat.
there's nothing out there right now that's just like Wave Race 1080 or SSX or anything like that.
I
Where
had very high hopes for Steep, but I found that it was so much more of a burden just walking your ass around that mountain trying to get to places to even play the damn game that I just stopped playing it. I was really
To me-
hoping it was just a game where I could just do stupid tricks like, 14 flips
Mm-hmm.
in the air over a jump just to. But they went with realism. But I don't need the 15-minute walk back to the top of the mountain to sled down it
Yeah.
again. If I want to do that shit, I just go out and do it in real life.
Need
Yeah,
like
I mean-
a new version of Skate 3 with like steep type ideas where you could do different things.
or maybe just a updated version of like NFL Blitz, something like that, where like you slam like each other into the ground and stuff. Everything is going towards too much realism that they're
NBA
missing
Jam.
the. Yeah. Yes, NBA Jam. That's exactly what I'm
We need
saying.
rivals back again. Rivals versus rivals. You remember that?
Mhm.
Wasn't that just like you could like just punch people playing basketball?
Yeah,
Oh, back
That-
in the
that would-
NES.
that would be so much fun.
Or was it
like,
Arch
imagine-
Rivals? Something along those lines.
They need to come out with a like a new version of Punch Out, but I don't know, just revisit it or something. Like I feel like they missed the bill with Punch Out on Wii because they tried to make it too much motion control. But
They need to go with
They might be able to
Celebrity
now with
Punch-Out.
with the Joy-Cons. They might be able to.
yeah, now you actually feel like you're holding actual gloves instead of like the Wii where it was like you were connected and you tried to actually do a hook and you just yanked the thing out of your hand.
Yeah, right.
Broken TV.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But,
Uh,
on my side, though, I think Octopath Traveler and Tomb Raider are definitely tops on my list for this year. I don't know if you guys have played any of the new Tomb Raiders, the two that came out, Rise of the Tomb Raider and just the first Tomb Raider.
I heard they're good though.
They are amazing. They're essentially Uncharted, just with a different character. They made her a lot more realistic because it was more of a prologue in the first one where she was just an explorer looking for something, and then she was just kind of thrust into this I've got to fight to survive, kind of atmosphere on this island. And then that just kind of continues on in the second one. And so I'm very excited for the new Tomb Raider. I believe it comes out in like September or October. But essentially, it fills the Uncharted itch, when there's not an Uncharted game out, because it's essentially the same style, same kind of attitude, same environment in the games. And then also Octopath Traveler. I don't know if you guys have even seen those. I know you don't have a Switch, so you probably don't have that one unknown. There is a demo available, Orphan. You should definitely try it out. But essentially, what it is, it's a classic RPG, top down, well, semi top down. Really, really beautiful graphics on it. But there are 8 playable characters, and all of their stories intertwine. So you can play as any character you want, from what I understand.
That's right. You're telling
Play
me
through
about
the game, and you will see you will interact with the other characters at different points in the game. Every time you play it. So really, you can get like 8 playthroughs of this game, and it's a different story each time as you cross paths with all these other characters that you're not playing as. The demo is fairly lengthy, but it gives you 2 characters that you can kind of see how they interact and all that. But the game itself, graphics are beautiful. It's very SNES style, but it has a little bit more depth in terms of the environment on the colors and that kind of stuff. It just has a little bit more of that 3D, but still kind of looking like an SNES type style in the pixels or in the sprites and everything in the game. It looks fantastic though. I'm very excited for that. That comes out in July. And then also Spider-Man. I've been seeing some of the trailers. Dude, that game looks freaking badass.
That game looks good.
Like, I don't
It
know the
looks like
last
it's
time I was
actually-
ever excited for Spider-Man. So,
I can't say there was ever a time in my life where I was excited for a Spider-Man game, except for maybe going to rent it so I could swing around for a weekend.
The first Spider-Man release game I was pretty excited about because the first movie was like a real big thing for me. I was like, that game looks really fun.
the Tobey Maguire one?
Yeah.
The first movie, I liked the first movie quite a bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
with Willem Dafoe, and just like the movie, and whenever they released the game, at the time it was touting to be one of the best like video game movie releases and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Honestly, that's kind of making me excited for Venom.
Yeah.
I feel like they might be able to make a really fucking good Venom movie
Did
game
you-
release.
See the trailer for
I did.
that? Okay,
Yeah.
it looks amazing. I'm not gonna sit here and talk about movies too much, but
So is that supposed to be a
that-
sequel to Homecoming?
No,
no, it's a
standalone.
totally standalone. It's actually made by Sony.
Okay.
Um,
So who's
it's
playing Spider-Man in that movie?
Tom Hardy.
Okay.
No, Venom is Tom Hardy.
Yes,
but
yeah,
who-
Venom is Tom.
who's playing
Spider-Man's
Spider-Man?
not in it, I don't think.
Oh, at
They
all?
haven't really teased anything about that
It
yet.
just seems
Yeah,
kind of
it's
weird
all-
that with Spider-Man Homecoming having come out last year that they would pop out a Spider-Man movie that didn't feature Tom Holland. You know what I mean? That it just seems like a very
Well, right
conflict of
now,
interest.
Spider-Man is on loan to Marvel.
Yeah.
And then Venom is a Sony product now. So it's a totally separate movie of how Tom Hardy, his character, is Brock, right?
Yeah, it's Eddie Brock.
Eddie Brock, that's it. Sorry, I'm not super huge into comics, but Eddie Brock, how he touches with the symbiote and how he gets the powers and everything.
So I wonder
But,
who they're going to
what's-
have fight him if it's not Spider-Man.
He's an anti-hero. He's
Oh.
yeah. So he's a hero.
I
Um,
always thought Venom was a bad guy.
Well,
half and half. Like he's
Yeah.
always been half and half. They actually had an entire comic series that he was the He was actually a hero, and he was working side by side, and it was interesting. The movie's going to be fantastic. I have a feeling it's going to be right alongside of Deadpool and stuff like that. Just a lot of goofy ass humor. The only thing that people are really upset about from the trailer is, one, Tom Hardy's accent's really fucking bad. Two, the way they
Bane.
pronounce.
He's a
I mean,
New
the way
Yorker.
the way they pronounce symbiote, they call it symbiote, and literally like she enunciates symbiote, and it's really annoying to hear her talk, but it's like it's symbiote. Stop saying it wrong. But another release that I'm actually looking forward to, that's going to be coming out on PC and other, I think Switch as well. I don't know if it's just PC or not, but Mega Man. They're coming out with Mega Man 11, and it looks really fucking
It's going to
fun.
be in a 2D style, or is it a 3D game?
2.5D. So
Okay,
you are
so
gonna
just
be
like
2D
the
side
one that
scroll.
Ryu was playing, the Mega Man 2.5.
Yeah, it's gonna be
fan made.
it's gonna be a 2D side scroller, but you're gonna have three-dimensional graphics on the side scrolling aspect.
Alright.
So
Have you
it
seen
looks-
Mega Man 2.5?
I haven't.
It was-
Probably have, but
I've seen Ryu Car play it. Essentially, yeah, it's a side scroller, but then you can hit like the edge of the screen, and the whole screen will just kind of rotate, and you continue the level, different things
I
like
have
that.
seen that.
So
I have seen that. Yeah, and this is gonna be very similar, like classic, not Mega Man X. So he's not gonna be Mega Man X, classic Mega Man. Blue suit looking weird dude. But I'm a Mega Man fan. I played Mega Man 2 and Mega Man growing up, and loved whenever they started getting into like charge blasters and stuff like that. I played Mega Man Legends. Like Mega Man 11 looks really. It looks like they're bringing back a lot of the classic aspects that games are missing nowadays,
mhm.
and I like that they're revisiting what they're missing and realizing what they can do to bring back old and make it new. So Capcom might actually be making a huge resurgence with a lot of their games that they're.
Capcom needs to revisit. Capcom and Sega are two companies that I think really need to revisit some of their classics and bring them into the limelight. Biggest one for me that's I've been waiting for forever. Sega America let me down. Phantasy Star Online. Been a big fan of Phantasy Star for a long time. Phantasy Star Online 2 has been out in Japan now almost 4 years, and it was supposed to come to North America. It still hasn't. They're saying they're going to do it. Are they not going to do it? They need to stop dicking around, because there's a lot of these games that they could be capitalizing on over here. Like half their player base for Phantasy Star Online 2 are Americans translating their game to go and play on a Japanese server. I was one of them at a point. I've stopped now because it's updates literally every day. But these are two companies that I think really need to get their shit together and start releasing some of these classic games in a new age.
Figuring out a way to translate them correctly. It's like that's one of the things with Sega though. Sega has dropped the ball like 10 different times with fucking Sonic.
All your base
Like,
art
good
belong to
God.
us.
Yeah, like Sega and their Sonic series is so sad.
Oh my
Like,
god, yeah.
It is
Sonic
so
Mania
pitiful.
nailed it though.
I mean, don't get me wrong. They have a like honestly, Sonic Colors isn't that bad. Sonic Colors is actually pretty fun, but it's like they're not what you'd expect from the original Sonics. Like Sonic is a better supporting character now than he is a main character. They haven't come out with a good main Sonic game in so stinking long.
They're never gonna have a good Sonic game until they get Jaleel White to do the voice again.
I'll watch. Well, RNG, you know this. I watch Game Comps and
Yep.
a lot of the compilation videos, and boy, do they have a blast playing those Sonic games. Sonic in the Dark Knight, Sonic Unleashed, all of them, and just how fucking terrible they are. They are so bad.
Yeah, I want them to make a new Sonic Spinball. I
game
love
was fun.
Sonic Spinball.
It was so hard, but it was fun.
Janky as fuck, but you know what?
It was janky.
Really
it was
fucking-
so laggy that it was really hard to play.
some of the best not I wouldn't call it OST, but it was like the original sounds for it, like just the noises that you heard with the pinball. You really felt like you were in a pinball machine. It was really cool.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. But I mean, I'm looking. Apparently, that Spider-Man game is going to be on PC. I'm looking forward to it. I'm probably going to end up
Yeah,
trying
that'd be nice.
One last side note before we wrap up here, because I think that was the before we wrap up, but Detroit for anybody that doesn't know, Detroit just is putting out a demo like this week or this weekend or next week or something. So if you're interested in that game, go check it out. I definitely am interested to see where that game goes because, like I was telling you earlier, RNG, they hyped it up like 2 years ago, and the hype train has derailed. So I'm interested to see where it goes. But
yeah, it's something I definitely will check out with the demo. I don't really know much about it, but I just know that it's been talked about a lot.
I think it's got a lot of Heavy Rain in it.
Yeah, I really liked Heavy Rain. Is it the same developer? Do you know?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I just know it has a lot of aspects or a lot of it plays a lot like it, I think.
Cool. All right, so guys, I think this is probably going to wrap it up. I'm going to shut off the point system now. So we ended up final score: Orphan with 14, RNG with 14. We tied for first, and unknown with 12. So how do we want to do the tiebreaker? We just want to call it tied for first, and Mr. Unknown punishes, or do we want to do rock paper scissors? How should we handle that?
Oh man, how do we do it? Well, I think since Unknown is the ultimate loser, I think it's only fair he gets to flip a coin for our destiny.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
All right. So, coin.
No,
Okay.
no two-headed coins.
No two.
No two-headed coins. Tails. Heads. Heads is RNG. Tails is Orphan. And I'm not going to catch it. We are on, in fact, no flip. Tails.
All right.
Wait, heads. I have to do it, or tails? Orphan does it.
That was for who was going to have to do it.
So that's you, right? I was heads, right?
Yeah.
So Orphan has to do it.
Yes, we're heads. Orphan has
Oh,
to do
I
it.
have to do it. Oh.
He's like, all right, I love this stuff. So.
No, the one that you were on means you have to do it. It chose you.
All right.
All right, guys. The punishment today. Originally, we had something else planned. We'll probably do that next show, which is in 2 weeks. But as you can see, Unknown here has a bottle of mustard. I assume Orphan does too, and probably a nice big spoon. They're going to fill that spoon with a nice heaping pile of mustard. Unknown, if I were you, I would shake that bottle first so you don't get all that liquidy stuff. Get it nice and mixed up there. But they're going to get themselves a nice big heaping spoonful of mustard as their punishment for being the losers.
I fucking hate mustard. I don't eat it on sandwiches. I don't eat it in stuff. I fucking hate mustard. Oh
I don't mind mustard when it's a small, it's got to be with particular foods, and it's got to be just like a little bit, like a hot dog or a bologna sandwich. I'm good. Other than that, I don't eat mustard. So.
Wasabi's a great idea. I cannot do wasabi, and of course, this shit's already like exploding all over the fucking bottle.
All right, so I got my biggest spoon here.
No.
No, that doesn't.
That doesn't count.
I got a real spoon.
All right, you got to show everybody your spoonful of mustard. Who wants to go first?
Mustard, classic.
2 seconds.
Heinz.
I'm not doing a spoon. I'm putting straight to mouth. Fuck it.
Oh, you're doing
I think
okay.
let's have Orphan. Let's have Orphan go first. We'll get his out of the way. Vegemite. Oh, gross.
Dude.
Vegemite. Oh, that is
disgusting.
That is a good
That's
idea.
a fucking idea, though. That's disgusting.
All right. Well, I'm blocked by. Here we go.
Is it a brand new bottle?
No, it's expired as fuck.
It's expired.
Oh god. Mine's 32 cents at Walmart.
Oh shit! All right, I gotta go.
Down the hatch, but he's even licking the spoon. What a manly
All right,
man.
gentlemen.
All right, Unknown, take it away, buddy.
Oh, go for it. Get it, girl. Ooh, you didn't even hear that.
Oh.
Oh.
It's gonna give me a heartburn.
Oh. That just looked like it felt awful going in your mouth.
Oh god. I fucking hate mustard. Oh my god, I fucking hate it.
Oh. Guys, I want to thank everybody who tuned in, who watched the show today. This show will be happening every 2 weeks, Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock Central Time. We'll feature the three of us chatting about current topics, and at the end of it, we're going to be doing a punishment. Every week will be a different punishment, we hope, if we can be creative enough. However, if you've got some suggestions, you can join my Discord. There's a link in the panels down below. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow Unknown on Twitter. I don't think Orphan has one.
I don't.
And suggest ideas. I'd also like to do a little bit of a game giveaway, so if anybody would like to be entered for a game giveaway, just send out a tweet about the show with the hashtag LevelUpLive. I will check for it. And tomorrow morning, I will pick someone in that hashtag and give them a free game. So again, hashtag LevelUpLive on Twitter to get entered for that. Otherwise, Unknown Orphan, I'd like to thank you for your time today. We'll be back again in 2 weeks to do it again. If you guys have some topics that you want to discuss, we can go over those. And otherwise, Orphan, any closing words from you?
I just want to thank everybody for coming on, watching us for our first show. We have a lot of really cool ideas planned. Sorry, a good message. We have a lot of really cool ideas planned for the future, so we hope you kind of come right along with us.
Yeah,
I think this is going to be definitely a lot of fun. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. We're working on some ideas to get the community involved and everything. So.
Yep, and then there's gonna be a lot of E3 talk coming up in June too.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully, we might be able to get some guests on to shed some light on some topics as well.
See what I can do.
Yeah, and the E3 is gonna be exciting. There's gonna be a lot of news, a lot of stuff to talk about. So make sure you're around for that. If you haven't, make sure you follow the channel, follow Discord so you know when the show's on. You can check it out. Otherwise, Unknown. Anything you like to plug your channel? What you're doing? Talk a little
Shameless
bit about
plug.
yourself. Yep. Nope. It's nothing shameless about it, bud.
My channel is Unknown Availability, so twitch.tv Unknown Availability. I do a lot of Link to the Past randomizer runs. I enjoy running the hell out of that. I'm in a tournament right now. Every week I will be doing another race against somebody, possibly restreamed on speed gaming channels. I'm going to start running, going through casual playthroughs of a couple games. I've got Final Fantasy X running right now, as well as I'm going to start doing Typo Man, which I know you're doing right now as well. RNG, I
Yes.
snagged it for that $4. I was happy to see that. And I may start playing Undertale soon, but I'm always willing up for suggestions, stuff like that. But I'm at Unknown Avail, no ability on the end because Twitter sucks. I will tweet out there as well as, we'll probably have a list of games y'all can pick from because I've got quite a few myself that I can help give away as well, however you want to do it, RNG.
Yeah, I got a bunch of them, so I'll give away a few on Twitter.
Yeah, definitely come and see us again. Come watch us again. We want the community to grow. We want it to get bigger. Tweet out the show, talk about the show, put it in your favorite Discords, let them know there's a new guy in town, and we're willing to do a lot of different things just to make it enjoyable for you. Please put suggestions for the negative feedback or whatever for the fucking mustard dumb shit. Please.
Got mustard burps now.
Yeah, fucking mustard nasty shit.
Post-traumatic mustard disorder.
Yeah, like any of that stuff that you want to see us do, we're willing to do it. I love doing stuff like that, making people laugh. And Vegemite is probably on the list. We're going to try to do Bean Moozled as well, which, oh my God, those probably. Yeah, I couldn't find mine. The whole reason I'm the reason why it was fucking mustard, and go figure.
We had to punish you.
Yeah, punishment well received and not happy, but. Yeah, Vegemite's definitely on the list too. That'll be
mayo.
I love mayo. So
I like mayo too, but only when it's drowned in like a sandwich. Not just a
I like
spoonful.
mayo. I like mayo, but I don't like it in a big heaping shot of mayo.
So
tell your mothers, tell your friends, tell your cousins, everybody.
Yeah, come join the Discord and definitely let us know if there's some things you want us to talk about. As Unknown said, suggestions are more than welcome.
Absolutely. So again, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you for watching. We appreciate everybody who came in, checked it out. Any word of mouth, any way you can spread the message about the show and get some people in here. The more people we get, the more we can do, the more we can interact, and the more we can give away and communicate back and forth with our viewers. But that's going to be it today, guys. I will personally be streaming again tomorrow. I'm continuing Super Dram World. I stream Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays. Every other Wednesday, 2 weeks from now, will be the Level Up Live show, so you can look for that every 2 weeks. Otherwise, that's going to be it tonight, guys. Thank you for watching. Have a great night, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye, guys.